All right. We can spend more time on question answer if you feel that your queries are there and you need to be addressing a few questions which are there to be answered, then we will be open to that also. So in this discussion, we'll be talking about analyzing trends in market development, upcoming projects, new opportunities, strategies, challenges for tunneling, geographical challenges, and adoption of contractual framework, risk sharing mechanism with the various stakeholders, and suitable innovative design, as well as sustainable environmental practice, and then capacity building on skill development, which is a challenge today. And of course, indigenization, where our government is looking forward for PLI schemes for many things, which are possible to make in India kind of thing. We can't import everything from the, from the abroad. We need to develop our own strategies, our equipment and other things. So starting the session with the speakers, I will invite Mr. Harpal Singh to narrate about himself, what he is doing currently, which projects of the tunnel he is involved in, and what are the constructional challenges over to you, Mr. Harpal.
Good morning to all of you and nice day. I am really very thankful and very happy to join all of you here. And I want to thank FICCI organizers for this important conference. I will concentrate only on construction of Zojila Tunnel. All of you must have heard about Zojila Tunnel. Ladakh is a union territory and big area. Currently, there are two access routes to Ladakh, one from Himachal, that is Manali side. Another route is from Srinagar side. And if you travel from Manali side, there is Rohtang Pass. And you travel from Srinagar side, there is Zojila Pass. Both passes are close to 18,000 feet high. Border road is maintaining access from Manali to Leh and Srinagar to Leh over these two passes. During winter, when lot of snow takes place, this road connection cut off. 4 to 5 months, there is no connectivity to this vast area of Ladakh from mainland India. So government of India decided one tunnel through Rohtang Pass, which is known as Atal Tunnel, about 9 kilometers long, and second tunnel through Zojila Pass, which is 13.2 kilometers long. So my company is doing Zojila Tunnel, and I am project head of that tunnel since beginning of this project in October 2020. I will concentrate only on tunneling through or in area which are geographically very difficult. People are doing tunneling in Delhi Metro, Chennai Metro, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai Metro. We consider these areas geographically very easy. But tunneling, hydro tunnels, road tunnels, and rail tunnels, which is going on since last many years in northeast part of India, from Manipur, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Bhutan, then Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, means through Himalayan geology. It's always a very, very challenging geology, and lot of surprises are there. Access is very difficult, weather is very harsh, no education, no health facilities available. So tunneling through Himalaya is a big challenge for the nation. Now Government of India has decided, because we are surplus funds for this infrastructure. Construction contractors are ready, government is ready, consultants are ready, and lot of efforts are being made through doing these hydro, rail, and road tunnels through Himalayas. So I would, for few minutes, I will allow other speakers through Saini Saab.
Thank you, Harpal, for opening remarks about the Zojila Tunnel and the complexities over the Himalayan region where the geological challenges are many. We have expert with us from Dr. Jagdish Telangana Sahu. He is the expert in the geological investigation and design part. So he'll be narrating his experience as far as the adequate site investigation is concerned, design evolution for the tunnel part, and then guidance to the expert consultants on the project side. Mr. Sahu, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Saini. He told me to tell something about me. So to begin with, I started my journey in IIT 20 years back. I'm teaching there around 21 years now. And we are having two programs, as you know, geotechnical engineering and the rock mechanics and underground structure. This is the first program in the country where we are dealing with rocks and underground structure. And from IIT side, we have been providing the consulting services and the testing services to industry for very long time. This program was started, I think, about in 70s, 76 or 78. So since then we are doing, but my journey actually begins even before that. I was in Japan for 3.5 years, and luckily I worked on a project related with the Shinkansen tunnel, Shinkansen railway, which was passing through the tunnel. So there was a erosion of the soil, and there was a loss of support because of the soil erosion. So I dealt with that problem, and then after that I joined IIT Delhi. I've been working for different projects related with the BRO, Army, NHAI, and some railway tunnels. So this is, we are working from the IIT side, and I've been teaching the rock engineering courses for very long time, supports, systems, etc., and design and analysis of underground structures. And while I'm teaching to the students, I'm also simultaneously learning from them. Thank you. Yeah, I will be talking about the technical in the next.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdish. Now we have with us Mr. Vaiven Sharma. He is the project director of Delhi Metro DC09 package, holding a long package of tunnel as well as stations. Earlier to that, he was there in Ahmedabad for a complex project of underground sections. Over to you, Vaiven, to elaborate more about you.
Yeah, thank you, Sunny sir.
You touch upon the tunneling part in urban context.
Yeah, good morning to all delegates. I'm into this tunneling operation since 2008-9. Earlier with phase 2, and then after that I completed one deepest tunnel in Delhi. After that, Mr. Saini said, we went to Ahmedabad and then completed and dedicated to the nation for revenue operations. Currently working on DMRC phase 4 package at DC09 from Chhatarpur to Necharai. I'd like to concentrate on the risk in the urban tunneling, particularly while driving in urban tunneling, the surface buildings existing as well as new structures, and then heritage structures, government, and then sensitive buildings, all these buildings. So while driving tunneling, particularly tunneling TBM machines, we have to be very cautious while monitoring the buildings, and then before attempting the tunneling activity, precondition of the buildings, study of the buildings, condition of the building, whether it is in damaged condition, whether it is in good condition to sustain the vibrations of the tunneling below. All these things to be taken care. Otherwise, people will claim, and then livelihoods are there. So we have to take care of them. While doing tunneling, suddenly settlements may happen, and then buildings may get collapsed. These things to be precisely, pre-condition surveys to be done, and then later, while doing tunneling, with reference to the influence zone, all these buildings to be monitored day and night whenever tunneling activities are going on. And then we have to prepare a clear contingency plan in case while doing tunneling, any sudden settlement is happening, and then any unforeseen collapse is expected. Then we have to take care of the human beings and residents of the building, maybe by evacuating, by creating a temporary residing arrangements. This is the one factor in the urban tunneling risk with the existing structures above ground. One more thing is services like bore wells and all existing in the tunneling alignment. These generally these are the essential services to the residents. Once we driving through to the alignment, any boreholes are existing. These have to be shifted to take care of their to have to provide services, as well as to not to losing out the foam or greases from below the tunneling activities. These are the things. These are the risks and challenges while doing tunneling in urban areas. Yeah. Next time. Continue.
Thank you, Vivian.
Yes.
Now we have with us Mr. Love Anandjiwala, Director, Infra Advisory Private Limited, who is involved in the PMC services for the tunneling project. And he is there along with his father in the field of the geotechnical investigation as well as geophysical investigation since last 30-40 years. So over to you, Mr. Love Anandjiwala. You please narrate a few things about your company, yourself, and few projects undertaken by you. Next round, we'll be taking a little deeper into the tunneling activity.
Good morning, all delegates. Myself is Love Anandjiwala. I am representing Anandjiwala Infra Advisory. The organization is into design, supervision, and investigation services. We are majorly working in tunnel sectors right now. Our current focus is on Himalayan region highway tunnels. We are doing supervision for the Zila tunnel, and we are independent engineer for Zedmore tunnel. We are doing a DPR in Mizoram for Aizawl bypass, which is about 2.5 kilometers tunnel. I would like to talk about something about the challenges the consulting organizations are facing right now in current markets and current tendering, which I'll be focusing further during the discussion. Thank you.
I was talking that tunneling market India is growing at a CAGR of 10.2% from 23 to 27. Lot of tunneling projects is going to be there. The reason is very simple. We have increasing investment in infrastructure projects. We are growing demand of the public transportation, the rising in urbanization, and need to improve connectivity between cities. Cities means if we talk Delhi to Meerut, Delhi to Alwar, Delhi to Panipat, this is itself is a challenge. So that all is giving impetus to the tunneling industries. It is not that tunneling is only increasing in the cities alone. It is increasing because of the connectivity into the northeast region. It is in connecting to the border areas, as Mr. Harpal was telling. It is also growing. Every project which we connect means like suppose any corridor is there for say 60 kilometers. So nearly you can say nearly 10% belongs to the tunnel part. Balance may be underground at grade, or balance may be the other cut and cover part or other part. So tunneling per se is a focus for equipment manufacturers. It is a focus for chemical industries. It is a focus for a lot of ancillary equipments, which is going to be part and parcel of the tunneling activities. It is focused for bentonite, microsilica, concreting activities. It is focused for the precast activities. And many more segment bolts, anchor bolts, SDR, many more fiber reinforcement, etc. into it. And this fraternity which is sitting in this hall probably it is of importance to them that how the things are being constructed into the urban context and in Himalayan construct or difficult geology concept point of view. Now, which you want to convey to the audience, which is of interest to them. Yeah.
There are only two tunneling techniques which are prevalent and very common in India. One is drill and blast NATM tunnel, means new Austrian tunneling method, and second one is TBL. There is no dearth of technology, no dearth of chemicals and so on. Everything is available. All kind of technical know-how is available in this country. But the challenges are of different nature. It's not planning, design, this and that, or material availability or equipment availability. Challenges are deadline fixed by the government to complete any tunneling project in geographically difficult area. Means project milestones and completion date. You all will be surprised. There must be many people from many delegates from government side also. First milestone for any project like Zojila, Atal Tunnel, now Sinkula Tunnel and many more tunnels. First milestone means contractor is not even landed there. You don't achieve first milestones, there is no extension of time. No one is listening to the construction contractor. Penalties are there. And they wake up when backbone of the contractor is already broken. So, what kind of the challenges we are facing, all construction industries, whether it's L&T, HCC, Afcon Infrastructure, Megha Engineering, deadlines should be planned very nicely. All milestone target should be achievable. Second most important thing is geological and geotechnical investigations. Consultants are not getting enough time to plan DPR. Government call them, they simply say, you complete this DPR in 3 months. In 3 months, how much investigation can be done? How much planning can be done? So most of the DPRs are not up to the mark. Are reaching there, they find all kind of surprises. Where they say geology is quite good, it's garbage total. Where they say geology is garbage, it's very good. So this is second challenge on geological issues and geotechnical investigations. And so on. There are many more challenges. When I will get next opportunity, I will speak on them.
I think you told your pain points where the contractor is suffering, but that is not the objective of asking the point actually. Point is that what innovations and what challenges you applied technically and what are the of importance to that. Anyway, we'll be touching upon the next question to you. We have Mr. Marcus with us, and he is the head of the geotechnical and tunneling division of the Barnard Group. So we have a global experience as far as the geotechnical and geological investigation is concerned. We want to listen from you. Over to Marcus. Can you narrate a few things about what is globally happening and what is there in India which you want to add to get more risk-free projects are on the table to the for the nation. Marcus.
Yes, thank you very much. A very warm welcome from Austria, from my side. Unfortunately, I cannot be in Delhi. I just came back from Delhi on Monday. It's quite cold here, so you're sitting in a good environment. Yes, just very briefly to my background. Okay, I'm a head of tunneling and geotechnical engineering of the Bernhard Gruppe. We undertake projects here in Europe as well as in India for almost already more than 10 years. In Europe for the last 40 years. And it's one thing I can agree with Mr. Harpal Singh. Consultants are given too little time, and this is the key difference to Europe, where consultants given the proper time to also mitigate the risks and challenges already before they occur. And I think this is one of the most important topics India should take on just to mitigate the risks before they even occur. And for us, it's tunneling. It's a daily challenge, but also routine. So we are here for example, in Europe, we are not doing differently. The tunnel construction tenders or construction works are done similar way as in India. We just organize the sites a little bit different, but we are using the same equipment and the same material. So in my opinion, most likely it's not that there are really new innovations required, but the tools which already exist probably need to be implemented differently. This is the main part I would head to today.
Thank you, Marcus, for your remarks for important aspects of the investigation part. Definitely, the project is of low as far as time frame is concerned, and there is a challenge because we have to execute many projects together with a time span of 3 to 4 years, and in Himalayan you can say 5 years. So definitely it is a challenge, and it is a very time bound and restriction are there. But nevertheless, we have multiple aspects of geotechnical investigation and geophysical investigation which can reduce the time frame, and accuracy also can give the better accuracy also as far as the strata is concerned and the challenge is concerned. Once we talk about the tunneling, as Mr. Pal has told that there are drill and blast tunnels, there's a method of, you can say, NATM tunneling, and there is a tunneling by tunnel boring machines, TBMs. TBMs are also of multiple kinds, EPB, it's a slurry TBMs, or you can say it is a normal way of advancing without any pressures. So, and that tunnel boring machine nowadays are coming in the hybrid mode also. So once we go with the Himalayan region, and we find that we have to execute a project at Himalayan with a high altitude of ton of equipments, then it is lengthwise, it is 60 to 80, 90 meter long. Then it has to be carried on long list of trailers and lot of logistics involved, the low flat trailers, and how to keep a setup over there. So the questions of setting up the setup over there, and then setting the shaft, and then making the tunneling at that location, and then keeping the challenges open for, you can say, squeezing conditions, ground, the water inburst or aquifer encountering, what time when the water is coming, what you have to do at that particular moment. So these are the challenges. Once I was speaking in a border road organization seminar, so they asked me question why the tunnel boring machine cannot be applied on the Himalayan region. It is being applied in multiple projects, but still there is a lot of possibilities where we need to explore, because still risks persist over there. And that is what today, when we have a lot of engineering fraternity, we have good institute over here where we have the lot of skill set, and many projects since 2020, 2000 onwards it is running on. So we have a lot of skill set available in India. We can do wonders when we organize and properly organize the tunnel boring machine in such a way that it caters for all the risks on the projects. So I'll be asking more question to Jagdish ji. What are your experience as far as the tunneling and whatever design you have made and the actual encountering on the site, and what your contractor has done to overcome that challenge? Over to you, Mr. Jagdish.
Thank you, Saini ji.
I think about the challenges, there are basically three challenges which any engineer or any contractor face for the tunneling during construction. The first challenge comes in the form of the water ingress. So a lot of tunnel activities will be held up uh, because of the water ingress in the tunnel. It can be very high water ingress also, and you can't work in that case, or it can lead to tunnel collapse. The second aspect is the stresses. As Saini said, that at high altitude, if you do the tunneling at high altitude with very high overburden, then the high stresses will be there, which can lead to rock busting, which can lead to your spalling and many other problems with the tunnel. And the third problem that comes is the geological uncertainty. Geological uncertainties can be in the form of the fault. You encounter a fault or a highly jointed weathered rock, and so on. So these are some of the challenges which come in the rocky tunnels. Inside tunnel, of course, there are many different challenges, and one of the challenges the how to prevent the water ingress or collapse of the tunnel. You can do that in a similar fashion where you dig the borehole and then you can stabilize it with either filling up water or you put bentonite slurry to stabilize it. That is the principle behind the earth pressure balancing TBM and other TBM, which is slurry TBM. So these are some of the ways in which it can be done. Now, how to handle these three challenges? That is very important. The first and most important is the site investigation. Tunnel, you do not know. I know the tunnel. I have asked some experts. They have done construction in the Bhutan. It was a very difficult geological condition. I asked how much site investigation you have done. What are the site investigation you have done? And he frankly answered me, sir, zero. There was no site investigation. They were just going inside, jumping and constructing the tunnel. And the project was held up for 2 years because there was a water ingress from some nala and the project was delayed. So one most important thing is the site investigation. And I agree with Harpalji, this is the aspect which is most neglected in all the civil engineering projects. And the site investigation should be such that the uncertainties in the geological formation should be brought down to nearly 10%, approximately 10% at the end of the detailed site investigation. That is what is the experience worldwide. And the cost to be spent is about 1 to 3% should be earmarked for this kind of site investigation, depending upon the geological uncertainties and the tunnel length. If tunnel length is more, then the cost will be about less than even 1%. If geological uncertainties are too many, then the cost will be again more. So this is how you can have a plan the site investigation, and it has been noted in the literature that the budget overshoot, the cost overshoot, is inversely proportional to cumulative borehole length. More the borehole length, there will be less possibility of cost overshoot of the tunnel. So this is about the site investigation. About the other aspects, there are two more aspects. One is design and other is construction. I will talk to that in.
I think you rightly narrated, Dr. Jagdish, that the challenges are many, but there are plenty of talent also in India. That is what I think we are all here. That how our design team, how our geotechnical fraternity takes care of the challenges, and how best the project management efficiency, overcome all these challenges. That is what we all are here. That is the main modus operandi for handling any tunnel is that what we can organize, what is the kind of TBM we have to order, or what are the NATM project, how to organize a NATM project when we proceed based on the geology and advanced probing, what are the latest equipment which are prevalent in globally, and what are the things we can do for the efficient management on the project side. YVN, you have already touched upon the aspects of urban scenario and instrumentation and monitoring part. I'd like to know more about you for the benefit of the audience, that what are the case studies you have overcome for new innovations as far as the tunneling lowering is concerned, and as well as the challenges which you faced in Chennai for the segments part where the aquifer was encountered in cross passage construction.
Conventionally, we were lowering the TBMs using crane and heavy cranes and in multiple parts. Now, in the DMRC recently, we had adapted full-scale TBM lowering, which is weighing of more than, nearly 450 tons, and then using megalift method. It gives us, facilitates us the assembly of TBM above surface while doing shaft itself. So there is a time saving of nearly 3 to 4 weeks, and then TBM can be safely lowered at a single stage, and then this can is a new technology we have adopted. Earlier in our coastal road and then Bangalore jobs we have adopted, but in DMRC recently we have adopted this technique of full-scale TBM lowering. That is the innovation we have done. Coming to this Chennai aquifer burst, there was a collapse in cross passes, and as well as there is a damage in tunneling segments. That we have arrested and then mitigated the risk due by grouting, excessive grouting, and then stabilize the soil to control the water, and then the damaged segments are being retrofitted to take care of the permanent track loads and all.
Thank you, Ivan. You elaborated two important parts of the innovations used in the tunneling industry. Mr. Love, I would like to ask you, what are your experience as far as the latest innovations like fiber reinforcement used in the segments, or the new technique for the investigation part, or the if ATOM project is going on, what are your experience of proceed to go approach kind of thing, where the latest probing things are to be seen and matching with the expectations as per the probability of the encountering this threat is concerned.
Most of the panelists have discussed about the low investment on the investigation part, where we are facing issues during the construction, what we are talking about. The normal NATM tunnels, most of the times the phase mapping is done, and based on that the support systems are designed and contractor is facing. Probing and everything is by and large in urban tunnels where TBM is utilized, but in NATM generally based on the phase mapping support system and the blasting patterns are designed, what we have observed in constructed and designed. Is it audible? So one of the investigations which we were trying to introduce in India was the horizontal directional core drilling. Nowadays, generally in tunnels, we are doing the vertical drilling, and on shaft locations or wherever it's possible in Himalayan terrain, access road is a problem. So we have limited, as a consultant, we have a limited investigation because the accessibility to the center line of the tunnel or nearby tunnel is difficult. So one of the technology which we were discussing earlier was horizontal directional core drilling. So instead of vertical drilling, wherever you get a space, wherever you are near to the tunnel alignment, you can do a horizontal drilling coring basically. It's not a drilling, it's coring. So you can extract cores and you can paste cores. So you can get the strata of the tunnel in advance basically because you are going horizontal to the alignment of tunnel. And within less time, probably you can do more jobs. Another aspect is we are getting at least we should have 2 working seasons because in Himalayas there is a snowbound area, so we are getting less time. So once we get approximately 2 working seasons, consultant can do better investigations and can come up with a better design, which will reduce the risk and uncertainty during the construction.
All right, Mr. Lau. Now I'd like to ask Mr. Marcus. Are you there, Mr. Marcus? Yeah.
Yes.
Marcus, we like to know your experience. Singapore has seen multiple layer of tunneling one over the other, means one corridor, the next corridor goes below it, then third corridor goes further below it, and so on. So there is a multiple level crossings, and also they have also set up their you can say depots, also underground one. Of course, it is very costly affair. What I'm trying to ask you is that suppose there is an elevated line, and we have recently encountered in our NCRTC package 4, wherein our elevated lines, line 4 and lines, package 4 and line 4, line 7 projects are going on, and our tunneling is crossing there near to the piers of the, what do you call it, say 2 meter away from the pier of the existing elevated line. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Marcus, what are the your experience as far as the investigation is concerned, and how to mitigate this kind of risk, and how to make it into the codal provision so that it is once for all, it is a standard practice, and we go on with the risk-free metrics.
Okay, so your question is more related to, into this particular case, how to cross, how lines could cross close to each other.
Near to the pile location, existing pile locations.
Okay. I mean, in my opinion, this probably cannot be framed into a guideline or norm as a general case, because each and every location is very project specific. And yes, here in Austria at the moment, we are also involved in one project. It's not an urban project, but it's a new tunnel to be constructed under a motorway, and over this motorway also a bridge is crossing. And for example, the solution here is simply to relocate the pier of the bridge slightly by a few meters, which is naturally a big challenge in terms of an existing metro line overground. So the solutions are very much project specific. So in this case, I think, first of all, as you said, a very detailed investigation is required. This has also to be determined project specific. So the designers also need to be given time to look into which parameters are required, which types of investigations we need to do, just to simply understand the reaction of this new line, first of all, on the existing overground line, as well as the loads coming from the pier on the newly to be constructed tunnel line. So this has to be done project specific. I'm not sure. I don't think that this can be framed into a standard guideline. So this is why, again, we're coming back to the points that designers and consultants need to be given proper time to think about these solutions.
Thank you, Marcus. You have narrated a few things already on the part. Now I think we have left over with nearly 5 to 7 minutes more. So we'll ask very quick question to the panelists, maybe one minute each kind of thing. So because we need to cover a few things, aspects like, the skill set development, and you may be experiencing a lot of skill set problems. So what your organization is doing to change the skill set and to develop the teammates for not to face the problem of the expert on board. Mr. Harpal, first you, and then maybe one minute each. Thank you, Mr. Sreni.
Tunneling through.
Be brief.
Tunneling in geographical difficult area. There is always shortage of skilled manpower. The reasons are education, healthcare, poor access, high risk, and all major construction contractors are addressing these issues by providing costly accommodation, medical facilities at site, and in case the projects are too big, where time span is more than 8, 9, or 10 years construction period, we can provide them air transport facilities also at sites. Many European countries are doing like this, all kind of investment in projects. It can be done in India too. So there is only one way out, better facilities, so that people from Delhi can travel to Zojila or Singkula Tunnel or any tunneling in Leh, Ladakh. So better facilities are to be provided by the construction contractors.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Jagdish, would you please narrate a few topics of interest for the Tunneling Academy fraternity for so that the in-house or maybe these institutes can be set up for the making the training for the many projects which are on board.
Just I will first address the last question you said about the construction near the pile or foundation.
Okay,
etc.
okay, better.
So I think we are talking about the NATM method, New Austen tunneling method, but nowadays the trend is towards the observation type of method. So in Spain, Marcus may be knowing that there is a interactive structural design method which was given by proposed by Bineski and his co-workers, and its acronym is DEA in Spanish. So that is a method which is based on the field observation, especially the displacement in the tunnel, and then feedback on that given to the design section. Then designer optimize the support, etc. And if there is some high settlement, he finds the solution. So this DA should be adopted if there are some special kind of challenges are there. Then second thing is, I feel that about there are many disputes in the contracts, etc. So just to briefly touch upon this issue, that there should be some engagement of tunnel expert who should continue throughout the project, and he should have a regular visit and provide the technical guidance and monitoring, and he should help in the dispute resolution, especially related with the rock type, because construction in the hard rock is much costlier compared to the construction in a weathered kind of rock. But in weathered kind of rock, different type of problems come. And finally, to your construction about the manpower, training, etc. So I feel that it's a highly interdisciplinary field, and I have seen it on the site. You have geology engineer, geological person, you have mechanical engineer, civil engineer, structure engineer, all kind of people are working there, but they do not have the complete idea of the tunneling. So one way is to arrange short-term course for them for maybe 15 days and certificate, or 1 week program through some experts, and then they can give them presentation, etc. about the giving them the holistic picture of the tunnel construction and the other procedure. And in long term, we can think about the introducing this kind of course in our BTech curriculum and others. So this is all.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdish. Now, YVN, can you narrate a few things what L&T is doing to to develop the teammates and to develop the skill of the people which are there for the many projects to come on your way, like whether it is high speed project or whether it is semi high speed project where for the or various corridor or NCRTC.
Yes, sir. There is a big gap between the skilled manpower availability, particularly operators, ring builders, and then these grouters. On field working skilled manpower, and then opportunities available in the market. Now, currently, many opportunities are opened up in Salesforce, Delhi, Patna, and then Chennai, and then other areas. High speed currently is coming up. So there is a big gap. So for that, L&T is only a single organization in India. We have Tunneling Excellence Academy in Kanchipuram, wherein we are developing our in-house talent, wherein we are giving training to all these skill sets, including we have prototype tunneling, ring building, routing, and then all these ring building erection system, all these systems we have provided there at Kanchipuram. We are sending our in-house teammates there to get trained, enhanced training, to get trained and to accommodate them on our various current jobs as well as the future jobs. Furthermore, initiative taken by recently DMRC, they are also creating CETUs, Center of Excellence for tunneling and underground space training. They are also creating a training center for which industry partners are contributing their in creating a training modules, and then creating laboratory setups covering all these geotech as well as design as well as tunneling activity based trainings. All these modules they are creating, and then to enhance the skills, and then making more people trained in this field. That is the initiative taken by L&T and DMRC as well.
Thank you, YVN. Maybe people, for the benefit of the audience, let me tell you that NCRTC our honorable MD, he has already taken initiative to set up a beam kind of, setup over there where the latest digitalized, scope of is there for learning. Many people can approach them and also they can also train as far as the digital experience of the monitoring of the project with efficiency using speed is there, as well as they for in beam technology also they can train a few people. There has been a lot of Dr. Sahu already narrated that what are the things which can be done in the changing the I mean to say the courses in the curriculum to be taught in the into the universities and BTech courses. There can be n number of courses like site investigation for tunneling by TVM, various TVM operations and do's and don'ts, various case studies, tunnel and road alignment and clearances, tunneling supports, construction methodology of the shafts in tunneling, safety in tunneling, segment casting and lining, use of fiber reinforcement, cross passes, safe construction, complex geology, ventilation arrangements, blah blah. So, Mr. Love, can you also throw more light on some of the experience you as far as contractual part? And now I'm joining two questions. You can say anything which you feel that contract upgrading for the tender for benefit of the both the parties, because many times the contracts are predict the contract and they have to be risk sharing mechanism. So can you throw more lights on the, your experience on various projects where the various risks are properly addressed and in the benefit of both the parties?
Currently, the FIDIC contracts are basically item rate contracts. Currently in India, we are following EPC contracts or hybrid annuity mode kind of contracts where the whole risk is on contractor. Once the cost has been estimated, contractor has to do it.
Can you
Here, please. So whatever other requirement of the project which are narrated very well in the tender document, and contractor accordingly decides the costing. In the Zojila tunnel, which
I think better, yeah. It is a right observation by Dr. Gupta. Yes. Noted, sir. Noted. Our objective is to feed you the information, not to me or to each other.
yes, Mike is getting. So in Zojila tunnel, what we have observed currently is client has put a value value engineering clause in the tender. So if there are design upgradation or the engineering value addition by the contractor, then the cost, whatever are the savings, are distributed among two. The 50% goes to contractor, 50% goes to client. So that innovation in the tendering has been proposed by the client, and currently contractor has opted for that value engineering clause, and we are Mike is it. Sorry. So Mr. Harpal Singh can further throw light on that aspect about the value engineering. As a EPC contract, they have opted for that clause.
I need
Yes,
your permission
Yes,
to
please.
speak.
Carry.
There are 3 to 4 main aspects in all EPC contracts. Value engineering. Government is not ready to pay even a single penny against value engineering. We saved 150 crores at Zojila, and more than 2 years has gone, and people are playing like a football. No penny came to us. Second, change of scope. All government officers are ready to accept when change of scope is negative. When change of scope is positive, only correspondence. Third is extension of time. All contracts are heavily loaded in favor of government. If it's their delay, extension of time. If it's my delay, heavy penalty. And if there is delay due to third party, we call it force majeure. No definition of force majeure. It can be decided only in high courts and Supreme Courts of India.
I think, yeah. Let us be brief, Harpal. Thank you, thank you. Audience understood you. What do you want to
You
convey
see,
from the on behalf
sir,
of the
this is-
contractor?
No, I want to highlight government has will to, government is, government has will to implement project at fast pace. Public is crying, but where is the system? There is no implementation at all. Risk sharing. When construction industry, maybe 10, 15 years ago, were crying for risk sharing, there is a clause in risk sharing. There are 2-3 pages in every contract. Events are defined, occurrence, very high, medium, low, risk, only contractor. So what's the use of risk sharing 2 pages we are writing in every contract? Everything has to change if we want to become $5 trillion economy by 2025. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen.
Good, Mr. Harpal. You are very, very true to your
If I may
main
intervene,
points as far as tunneling and
excuse me,
construction.
sir, if I may intervene, I think this what Mr. Harpal has highlighted is not specific to tire industry. It is general problems all the contractors are facing, whether it is highways, bridges, tunnel, or anything. Wherein it is all one-sided and everything is in favor of the client, and nobody in the authority wants to take a risk and give a decision in favor of the contractor so they work and move on. I think this has to be addressed, not as term specific, it has to address the industry as a whole. Thank you.
Sir, are we having any government panel, government people, authorities out here to note the observations of Mr. Harpal Singh? And we have some answers from there? Because people from outside India are very eagerly looking towards $5 trillion economy of India and how this economy is going to grow. With these kind of hurdles in the contract execution, definitely this is going to be a painful experience out here.
A body like FICCI should take up such a matter which Harpal Singh sir is very rightly mentioning, and these things will continue because those in the government job, they have a cool job. I mean, obviously, I also worked in the government. I know. They want to put all the risk on this thing. These days, everywhere we are talking about third party. All the risk is put on the third party. All the risk is put on the consultant. So the people in the government will have a easy time. No burden, no risk. So this has to change.
Respecting your word,
The FIDIC and all this is only on paper. Consulting Engineering Association of India has been really working on this for a long time, and all the people here should support. I have nothing to do with, I am from academia.
Sir, with due respect, FIDIC is not even on paper. Today, FIDIC is not followed anywhere.
So please let us carry
Sir,
the session. Last
sir,
part of the
last-
session is remaining.
Sir,
I'm
last-
sorry to intervene, please.
Last
Yeah.
minute, sir, this side, sir, hello, sir, raise your hand, please. Sir. Can you raise your hand to, sir, I'm technology expert, sir. We are not discussing problems faced by, for example, in Joshimath tunneling. The project is held up for 15 years. When the tunnels are in Europe, they are built, constructed in 1 or 2 years. Why it takes, 15 years?
Yeah, you are right, sir. Tapovan Vishnugad project of
Sir, there are
NTPC.
so many problems.
Yeah.
Most of the projects are held up in Uttarakhand and so many other places.
you
So
are
the
right.
session, what we started today was having a highlight of issues and challenges faced by tunneling. So we're not discussing that.
Everybody can't speak like, please raise your hand, then only you will be given a chance to speak and ask the question. So let me finish the first Mr. Marcus experience on the PD contract, please. Mr. Marcus,
Yes, I'm there.
you will like
Um,
global experience as far as Orange Book of PIDIC is concerned, and how to give justice to the contractor in the aspects of where the dispute is there or the value engineering is passing on is concerned.
We are using all types of FIDIC contracts in our international tunnel project. In Austria, we have our own contract framework. Okay, it works very differently. It's an itemized based contract, but with clear risk allocation in terms of ground risk. Internationally, since 2019, there is the FIDIC Emerald book, which has been specifically prepared for underground works like tunnel. And in this, the core strength of this FIDIC Emerald book is that the geological conditions to be encountered are clearly defined, and whatever is not defined is unforeseeable and goes to the risk of the client. And this is, in my opinion, the way to go, because at the moment, Indian contractors, they end up with limited information at the time of bidding. Most likely also inaccurate information at time of bidding. At the same time, they have to give a lump sum price for the entire tunnel. If they price in all the risk associated with it, they will be financially somewhere. If they go for low cost, probably if the geological information is not accurate in the DPR, then they will end up with underpricing. And this underpricing, when the contractor does not have sufficient funds, the whole project suffers. And in the same time, the whole Indian community suffers if the infrastructure is not ready in place. So in my opinion, this FIDIC Emerald book would give you a good opportunity to just define the risks already at the contractual stage. It's quite clear whatever is there in the GBR, it's called, is geological baseline report is the risk of the contractor. Whatever is not described there is the risk of the client. And if this is already defined at contract signature stage, then no discussion should occur. So no one has to take the risk, because this risk decision has already been taken at the contract signature or at tender stage. And I think this is the way to go to implement this FIDIC Emerald book.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus, telling about the FIDIC Emerald book role, and the resolution of the disputes and the contract management of the project. Definitely, many things can be told about the contract part. Vivien, your last question may be related to the contract management, and anything related to. I'm adding another aspects in that, maybe to anything which you want to add as a innovations or indigenization, and 2 items which you want to propose in India.
Made in India, the products in tunneling, like chemical products we were using from India, but still there is a gap for critical items like tunnel cutter heads, bearings. These market is not still developed in India. Like grout chemicals, and then the greases, foam chemicals, all these things. Indian market has been developed very well, and then now we are using the products available in India, even bolts and all. But gaskets, the sealing of segment to segment gaskets, it is not still developed. There is a big gap. Further, tunnel spares, critical spares like negotiating in hard rocks, there is a much wear and tear of cutters. These spares are not still not developed in India. Further, main bearing related spares, seals are not developed in India. For this, if Indian market supports, there is a encouragement for tunneling.
Thank you, Vivien. Add a few things about the Tapovan Vishnugad project, as question has been asked. Well, L&T role was also there in that project. So what has been done to contractually address that? Are you aware about that?
No, sir.
Can you throw more like something on this?
Yes, sir. Very much, because I was there for 2 years. That project was awarded to L&T in 2007, and they started at a wonderful note. The length of head race tunnel of this Josima tunnel is 12 kilometers. 3 kilometers was supposed to be done with the drill and blast. 9-kilometer length of tunnel was to be bored with tunnel boring machine. L&T imported a very good machine made by Hyraknet. They did 6-kilometer tunneling with PBM, and then sudden this discharge of heavy water, rock debris, PBM stuck. They re-excavated in front of PBM. They could advance only 30 meters. PBM stuck again. Third time they tried, and by the time 6-year contract period was over, L&T requested NTPC authorities to pay 350 crore rupees additional. NTPC did not pay them even a single penny. L&T stopped that work. For 2 years, project was stuck. L&T was fired. New bid was then floated. Hindustan Construction Company of Mumbai, they were re-awarded this job. And 2016, now 23, only 30-meter tunneling have been done. So you can imagine the national laws and all kind of troubles, litigation. So this is the situation. Maybe NTPC could have paid them 100 crore rupees and tunnel could have been done. No, it's stuck.
Yeah. Appreciate
Project completion will take more than 5 years. More than 5 years more extra. So this kind of attitude has to change.
Okay, Harpal. Thank you. I think you
No, I have
narrated
many more
it.
things to say,
Yeah,
but
I think
time is running out.
yeah, we have discussed at length about the outlook of the tunneling industry. We have discussed regarding this project only. Okay, please. Somebody please bring the mic.
Yeah. See, the contract management in a tunneling project is very crucial, And since the tunneling carries a lot of risk, very heavy risk associated with it, the suitable clauses will be inserted, in the contract to safeguard the interest of the. It's very, very important. I have seen so many projects in hydropower when I was working in JP, So and provide the litigations, all that, and for the speedy delivery of the project. I think the sufficient clauses should be given the contract to take interest, to take care of it. Because contractor is making heavy losses with the
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Sahu, you want to add something?
Actually, the one of the best way, because as you mentioned, there were a lot of uncertainties involved with the tunneling, and with the poor site investigation, contractor would be very difficult to proceed. So best way is that there should be some tunnel expert who would be visiting, who should be neutral also, and he should be reporting to a Apex 3-member committee and telling him that these are the things, and that committee can take the decision about the finances, etc. So that will smoothline things and the decisions will be quick. Otherwise, there are many problems in the tunnel.
Yeah, Dr. Sahu and esteemed audience, basically the contract management is a very tricky subject. We have taken, while in the forum of ASSOCHAM, we have taken this matter to our esteemed honorable ministers are also Nitin Gadkari sir, wherein we have pointed out the same thing, like, there should be a baseline project report beyond which the contractor has to be compensated for the changes encountered during the real execution of the project. Number one. Number two, role of the independent consultants to monitor the project and give the feedback information on regular basis, and also, risk allocation metrics. Once the scenario, like, sudden outburst of water, sudden outburst of the liquid geology is there, that time what to do, and that as per actual we have to now execute the project. But the things are changing. The client is also, the client is also taking care of these aspects, and they are putting the good clauses into the contract, wherein all the risks are not with the contractor. Like, Bangalore Metro, they have taken the DBR, and based on the the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 rocks, they are compensating to the contractor if it is deviating from the DBR. Number one. Number two, they are also taking care of the value engineering formula, that how best any innovation in technology is there. Then the 70-30 formula or 50-50 formula, they are putting this. DMRC successfully executed this. We recently encountered one of the pile in our tunneling way, and that pile, for mitigating that pile, since it was a flyover pile, for that we need to make the shaft and then remove those piles, cutting those piles, making the alternate arrangement, and then do the tunneling near to this Anand Vihar only. So that has been properly compensated to us. It is not that the things are not getting compensated. Things are not as gloomy as we want to put it, but yes, many clauses need to be addressed in that. And thinking from the government perspective also, the things cannot be open-ended. No government can give you open-ended contract. It has to be a certain L1 contract, and then beyond that, there must be certain guidelines to compensate the differential part and of a particular limit, so that the upper limit is known to the contract, to the government. So that is what it is from the perspective of the client. Now we open the forum to the audience for asking the question. Maybe yes, first. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One at a time, please. I request silence. Yes.
Speaker, please.
Can somebody give the mic? Mic already.
काम नहीं कर रहा, then how 50 is working? They should provide like.
I worked for the project management at site also, and I worked with the consultant also. So the projects at the Himalayas range are very, very typical and very tricky also, because I agree with the panelist from IIT that a consultant has to be appointed. So now I tell you the experience that the contractors, they do the minimum survey, minimum soil investigation, minimum geotechnological survey. So these are the points which are becoming the burning points at the execution stage. And for the consultant who is making the DBR or the tender document, they are also saving the money. They are also not providing the full technical detail, because Himalayan range is totally very, very tricky to work. As Mr. Harpal Singh started with his comments on that, I fully agree, 100% I agree with him. Now I have done from the consultant side and the project management side, both sides. So the tender document should be technically very correct. Soil investigation report, geotechnical report, all should be there. It is the responsibility of the consultant. Let the government fix the responsibility of the consultant, so that 90% of the things are correct, and the contractor who has to execute the thing, he has to just follow it, and 10% the vagaries of the atmosphere or the vagaries of the geological changes taking place there, that can be taken care of, so that जो आपको 7 साल की delay, 10 साल की delay हो रही है, that can be minimized. It cannot be eliminated. It can be minimized. I worked with a Korean company, which they said that 1 year contract means 1 year you want the completion at 30th April AM or PM. This was the accuracy of the Korean contractors I worked. I worked with a European consultant as well as the American consultant. where
Thank
they-
you, sir. Thank you, sir. What's your name? What's your name, sir?
My name is Subhash.
Thank you, Mr. Subhas. You nicely edited the contractual
Yes,
part in that.
the contractor as well as the.
I request all the audience, let us be brief
Thank you.
so that we can honor
Carry,
the time.
sir, I need 2 minutes.
Who is on the?
Sir,
Yeah,
I'm here, sir.
yeah, please, carry.
See, I'm A.K. Nanda. I'm a national manager of a company dealing in instrumentation, monitoring, and tunnels since 2 decades. And my journey started with in 2000 with Saini Saab in L&T, Delhi MC1B1A. My August point, what Saini Saab said, emerging technologies in tunnel monitoring. Nobody has said anything about that. These days, such a good amount of technology is available, IoT-based sensor for tunnel monitoring, wireless monitoring. There plenty of cabling is done and cable gets cut. There's no solution. We have, but hardly people avoid going for good monitoring. Now, lovely instrumentation is available even for tunnel lining monitoring. See, we are working with a project in which these concrete segments, the sensors are embedded along with wireless data log embedded in the segment. When TBM moves, it starts, and the gateway is kept on the sheet of TBM. It can be monitored through wireless. With the new technology, where the stress strain developed in the segment can be pre-known by the time you move the TBM forward. So I will request all the August panel, such a big project like we've done a lot of work in Redmore Tunnel. See now the latest project which you use the technology IoT-based sensors and you get beautiful results, and it is hassle-free, and it has got very good monitoring softwares, and you can monitor your slopes, tunnels, everything but those things. But be forward and make use of the technology available these days.
Thank you, Nanda Saab. Your
Thank you.
experience on the latest technology use is very much appreciated. Where the use of the digital items or IoT or the other things, we have.
Adding to
I think
Mr.
separate
Nanda's
session need
comment,
to be conducted on that.
I would request Mr. Lau to elaborate more on the horizontal investigation. That's a very interesting thing, and it's a new development.
SPV kind of thing. Yes, Love.
And also, sir, the thing is that we have to move on beyond the contracts and the issues which the contractors are facing, because there's a broader this conference has a broader objective, right? We cannot be just dwelling on the issues of the contractor. We are also in the industry. We are also working, but the thing is, we have to move on to the objective of this seminar and conference.
Yeah,
which is not just open house for grievance addressal or some issues. We understand the issues.
May I ask a question? Let Mr. Love address that question first, please. Yeah. Soon after that, you.
So generally in investigations, we do vertical drilling, and that goes through the tunnel location. So whatever is the overburden, we do the drilling through the overburden. Now this new technology called horizontal directional coring, instead of HDD, it's HDC, horizontal directional coring. So along the tunnel alignment, once you put the drilling equipment, you can core through the tunnel alignment and you get a larger piece of information. While vertical drilling, you will get probably 75 mm of the data for the tunnel alignment, but through HDC, you can probably go along the alignment and you will get maximum data, which will reduce the geological risk.
Yeah, how much length can we do horizontal drilling at one go?
It has been implemented in majorly in Hong Kong and Singapore. They've gone up to 1,000 meters. But that's a very low terrain. We are talking about Himalayan terrain with 3,000 meter height. The engine capacity and everything matters. But what the technical experts have talked about is about 500 to 600 meters we can go.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Love.
may I
I
ask
think
a
the
question?
answer is addressed. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shubham. I'm representing an organization by the name Marvel Vinyls Limited. We are into tunnel waterproofing. We manufacture PVC geomembranes and geotextiles, as well as we apply them into tunnels. Currently, we are engaged in Rishikesh Country Arc Package 7A and 5, and also in T13, D14, USBRL. My question is in regards to how the work orders are being awarded by contractors to their subcontractors. Once a subcontractor is approved, his quality is approved by the client and the PMC, then the contractor is free to award order to any of their subcontractors. But there is a code missing that how these awards are being awarded. My question is to Harpal sir. Sir, example, at a particular package, contractor has awarded the entire quantity to one subcontractor, considering only the commercials. While we believe if we have more subcontractors, or a code like we go into Indian Railways or electricity boards, there are codes like you have a policy, you award 50% to L1, 30% to somebody, 10%, 20%. That way you have more subcontractors, there's knowledge sharing. At times you have problems like a particular subcontractor.
Okay. Thank you. A question should be brief. I think we can answer that. Yes.
You should compete with other agencies. Why more and more jobs are going to L&T, not to me? Because their technical know-how is better than me. They are delivering at better speed than me. And this is the meaning of private sector in this country. We have to see economy. Why to distribute 10%, 10%, and 10%?
So my question is,
I answer your question. Actually, I answer your question.
So let me just finish up one more line. Say there are 4 subcontractors, one of which comes from, say, some global.
Okay, noted. You can't ask.
This is only a complaint.
So a particular MNC might be having a good experience in.
Not for this purpose. Yes.
Yeah, this is a.
Sir, one question from my side.
Exactly right, sir.
One question.
I would like to intervene
Sir,
here.
my question is regarding environmental studies and issues. My question, I am Rajveer Singh from Building Doctor Private Limited. My question is about the environmental studies and issues before executing any tunnel project, like we had faced in Josimat. So, are we creating the disastrous projects without doing proper DPR projects and without doing proper investigation and geological investigations? Are we making ourselves in a big soup, make in India and make in India and made in India the disasters which we are creating? Should we have a proper environmental studies before executing such big projects of tunnels? Why there are no environmental studies and issues on such projects? And what are the after effects of these projects after executing the tunnels? Do you have any
Right question, very appropriate question in the current context of.
I think you need to know something which probably they cannot tell.
So
the environmental, everything is done.
Sir, that studies are very important for executing any before executing any project.
That is not your job.
Where are the
Sir, let
Sir, we will have to intervene.
One at a time, please.
Yeah.
Just to maintain, one at a time.
So are we creating the disasters or are we improving our environment?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
destroying our environment?
Very, very late. There's also a change in the schedule of the Honorable Minister. Now the Honorable Minister is delayed by half
Sir,
an
answer
hour.
of the questions, please.
Please, sir. We can always take these questions offline. So what we are doing is we are immediately proceeding with our second session of the day. So kindly give us 2-3 minutes. And after that session, we will have the minister, the session with the Honorable Minister. This has indeed been a amazing, thought-provoking, and too much of content-focused session. What I would also request you on behalf of Vicky, if you can please write down the key concerns and your suggestions for the government and hand it over to the registration desk. What we will do, we will make it a point that the same are delivered to the office of the Honorable Minister so that we give them some concrete outcomes. So thank you so much, all the speakers. Thank you, Mr. Saini. Very well conducted sessions, and I'm sure a lot of key takeaways and new avenues for thought process have opened up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And we will answer your question
Sir, yes,
offline,
sir.
please.
Sir, I need to answer.
Yes, please. You want me to supplement few things?
Or you can take offline
Yeah,
because
but-
we'll just start the
It
new
will be
session.
very
So
nice if all the audiences, all the educated and highly professionals are there. They would also be happy to know the answer, sir.
I just
Are
request
we,
the
are we
panelists for
creating
a quick
in the name
photograph.
of development, we are
Please,
creating the disaster, sir?
please maintain the sanctity. We'll request all the speakers for a group photograph, please.
picture.
Thank you, everyone.
May I invite upon stage the speakers for business session 2? I would like to take this opportunity to invite on dais Mr. Anil Kumar Shangaria, Director Projects, National Capital Region Transport Corporation, Dr. Nishit Gupta, Chief Technical Officer, Sistra India, Mr. A.K. Mishra, Advisor, Bauer Engineering India, Mr. Pushpam Kumar, Target Market Head Refurbishment, Tika India. Mr. Amit Saxena will be joining us just shortly. And our session moderator, Dr. Sanjay Rana, Managing Director, Parsons Overseas Private Limited. Requesting all speakers and moderator to kindly take the dice, please. I request all the delegates to kindly take their seats, please. Over to you, Dr. Sanjay Rana. Mr. Amit Saxena will just be joining. And just give us 2-3 minutes. We will ensure that everybody takes their respective seats and are as excited as they were in the session before.
Good afternoon. Since over to me, so may I request everyone to please be seated so we can start the session. May I once again request everyone to be please seated so we can start the session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, since I have gained some experience from the previous session, I'll request everyone to please keep their questions, which we'll take towards end of the session. And it's my promise to you that we'll have at least 15 minutes out of this entire 1 hour only for question and answer. So please have patience and keep your questions for the end of the session, please. So ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our business session on advancement in tunnel construction, focus on new technology, equipment, and materials. My name is Dr. Sanjay Rana. I'm a professional geophysicist with some 33 years of experience in near-surface geophysics, including tunneling. I'm managing director at Parton Overseas Private Limited, which is a geophysical company. And today I have the honor of serving you as your moderator for this panel discussion. In this session, we will be exploring the latest developments in tunnel construction, including new technologies and methodologies, tunnel safety and MEP systems, automation, and IoT for increased efficiency and advanced materials for enhancing the durability of tunnels. We are fortunate to have a panel of experts representing various organizations and areas of expertise who will share their insight and experience with us. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our esteemed panelists. We have with us Mr. Anil Kumar Shangaya, Director Projects, National Capital Region Transport Corporation. Welcome. We have Dr. Nishit Gupta. He is, I think, he's Chief Technical Officer, Sistra India. Mr. A.K. Mishra, Advisor, Bayer India Engineering India Private Limited, a very experienced professional in the field of tunneling again. Mr. Pushpam Kumar, Target Market Head, Refurbishment, Sika India Private Limited. And Mr. Amit Saxena, Regional Sales Manager, SARC Region, Trimble. So we have a very experienced panel here. And there are certain issues which were being discussed in the last session, including IoT and other issues. I'm sure it will be taken up in this particular session nicely. So are we ready? Let me hear it. Thank you. Yeah, please. Please join. Mr. Dr. Nishit. Okay. So Dr. Nishit has joined us. He is Chief Technical Officer, Sistra India. So now we are left with one more panelist, Mr. Amit Saxena. He'll be joining us shortly. All right. So now let's start with our panelists. My first question is for Mr. Anil Kumar. So with your experience in overseeing major transportation projects at the National Capital Region Transport Corporation, could you please share with us the most significant advancement in TBM, microtunneling, and NATM technologies that have made a difference in tunnel construction efficiency and cost effectiveness, especially based on your experience while implementing Delhi-Meerut corridor? Mr. Anil Kumar.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Basically, I will be sharing first my experience here. I just introduced that we are constructing a RRTS project from Delhi to Meerut. And this project is basically the rapid region transit system where we are connecting the regions to Delhi. So we have the 8 corridors identified. And in first phase, we have 3 corridors. One is this Delhi-Meerut we are constructing. We are having another corridor, Delhi-Alwar, and the Delhi-Panipat. In Delhi-Meerut corridor, we are having about 12 kilometer tunneling underground, which we are doing with the TBMs. So my experience, I will be sharing only the TBM here, not the micro tunneling and the NATM. While in the other corridors which we are planning for the Delhi-Alwar, we are having about 33 kilometer of the tunneling, and in Delhi-Panipat, it is about 25 kilometer of the tunneling. So based on this experience and based on this industry discussion with the industry experts, we are planning the other corridors also, where the conditions are quite different. So basically, as per the experience which we are gaining here, is that certain challenges comes while we are doing the tunneling, as we are facing here. The soil in this vicinity from the Delhi to Meerut is the alluvial type of soil, basically the silty sand is there. Lot of fine sand is there, and it's very difficult to control the sand. So whenever we are going for mining, the retaining of the soil itself is very difficult. So there is a lot of collapse may happen, and it happened with us also during when we started this. Presently, we are having 4 TBM in the Delhi area, and we are doing the in Meerut area also. The 3 TBMs are working, and our tunnel dia is 6.5 meter. So when initially we started in the Delhi area, the first TBM, we found that as soon as it started, a lot of torque and lot of thrust we are giving. So we thought that what happened to this now? Because people think that it's a soft soil, and soft soil EPV machine is there, and it will not have any problem. So it will be like, we are going through a cake and it will be done like anything. As soon as we started, we found that there is a lot of problem in the tunneling, and this machine is not going ahead. So there was a problem when we saw that there was a lot of collapse from the top. So the soil conditioning was the main issue, the soil conditioning, how to control that so that it can retain also. So we had a lot of trials during that period. Stack is doing our contractor, and they had a lot of experience in this field. They did a lot of trials in the field, having the various combinations of the chemicals like that, so that we can retain the soil. So after a lot of experiments, we found that a mixer which we are using here, bentonite and other forms and the polymers, we use that, and there we could find the retentivity of that. But during this analysis, still the problem, the geology is a big problem. Geology, which we are gaining here, is a big problem. So with my experience to this is that the first we should analyze the geology completely in a good manner, have a lot of extensive trials of that, and then only we should decide that which type of the tunneling we are going to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Anil Kumar. And it re-emphasizes the point, as it was being discussed in the last session also, more the investigations, better the investigations, lesser the surprises and lesser the dispute. So I think you just reinforced that point. Now coming to our next panelist, Dr. Nishit Gupta, and I would request everyone to please keep their replies to questions around 2 to 3 minutes, because I plan to keep coming in rounds to you for different questions, okay? So as a Chief Technical Officer of Systra India, a leading engineering and consulting firm, can you discuss the role of tunnel safety and MEP systems in the design and construction of modern tunnels, and highlight any innovative solutions that you have emerged in recent years?
Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nishit from Systra. And just a brief of that, a background of that is required. I came back to India in 2008 after 14 years of overseas stint. When I came here, I realized that somehow our engineers and all those things, they are not allowed to think out of box, work on first principles and stuff like that, And all the engineering problems are basically very simple. And if you want to complicate it, you can spend your lifetime doing that. So that is what drives us in any sort of challenges and all those things. Now, since you have asked for tunnel MEP and tunnel safety, so I will give you some more thoughts on what we did in Chennai phase 2. Basically, we have a land constraints, we have a lot of things, we have to make a shorter stations and stuff like that. And we end up doing a lot of innovative tunnel ventilation system design. And from underground stations, normally there are 4, both sides of stations, we have a tunnel ventilation system. We got rid of one through nozzles, through innovative designs and stuff like that. So it solves a lot of problems, land issues, and many other things, not only CapEx, but the OpEx also. So that is one thing. Second thing, if I look at the, say, road tunnel, so these days we are getting things, road tunnel is fine, but ventilation, smoke, there are a lot of dust getting cumulative in the tunnels. tunnel ventilation is working, not working. So we really need to think while we plan this, while we do this tunneling. Let's not go with to put some jet fans and they will take care of that. No, it's not going to happen. Mostly in the hills, there is a lot of pressure differentials across the tunnels. There are a lot of things which our machine has to be adaptive to take that. Maybe we have to shut down a tunnel so that we can flow it. Otherwise, all the dust from the valley while high winds can get into this. So basically, lot of these things we have to look for our local conditions, and we really have to emphasize on the first principle. And skies are the limits. If you want to make a business case, if you want to do a research, somehow the orientation of research also is not going in the direction. We are working in silos everywhere, including in my organization. So, a very quick one. I recently saw one web series, Rocket Boys, and Mr. Bhava, he told one very good line there. Jack of all trades, master of none, is better than Jack of all trade, master of one. So engineering is all about Jack of all trade, master of one is good enough. So with that, I'll stop it here.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. But yeah, I think the key takeaway is innovation. Keep innovating, and of course,
Quest to the first principle should be there.
right. Perfect. Thank you so much. And now coming to our very experienced Shri A.K. Mishraji. With your extensive experience, can you discuss some of the recent advancement in material and construction methods that have contributed to improving the durability and sustainability of tunnel projects? For example, how to ensure that a big size cavities in the crown of the tunnel is not formed and poor geological medium is also tackled without much loss of time.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. Good afternoon, my all participants. I had worked for 45 years in the hydro business in Bhutan and India, and now I'm working with Power as advisor, integrating the deep foundation solutions, which are very typical problems in our country, and most of them are probably not solved properly. So the very question which he has asked, when I was doing the work for the Magdechu project, 750 megawatt in Bhutan, the tunnel was 13.5 kilometer long and 6.5 finished diameter. The issue of how to avoid big cavities in the ground and collapse of sites sometime, I have tried for the first time the pre-grouting of the entire phase. I made the pre-grouting as a part of the time cycle. You have to do the pre-grouting where we are expecting a poor strata. And this pre-grouting was done with high capacity pumps imported from US. And we were doing the pre-grouting at a time by deploying 2 to 3 pumps at the phase. Number of holes drilled about, say, between 40 to 50, almost 10 to 20 meters long, parallel to each other. And the grouting was done at a stretch, say about maybe 20 meters plus, and allowed the poor material to settle down, consolidate. And then we started the drilling blasting. We restricted the blast depth. And what I observed that though we have consumed time in pre-grouting, productivity went down, but I avoided a lot of cavities in the crown sides, which is usually happening when we are doing conventional tunneling, drilling and blasting method. We are facing a lot of the tunnels. Either we are creating excavation beyond profile, then we are filling back, consuming time and cost. So instead of doing that afterwards, you should take precaution right in the beginning and start the pre-grouting in a systematic manner. It has to be planned right on day one. It is not to be, brought in the So the issue is that the all tunneling projects where the conventional method of tunneling is to be deployed, milling and blasting is to be done, pre-grouting is mandatorily to be part of the bid document. And we should include that as an activity. We should ask for a rate in the BOQ so that the contractor is mentally prepared for the job. What is happening today is that whenever the cavities are occurring, we are trying to firefight then and there at that point of time. We are not prepared mentally to tackle it. The result that in some of the cavities, if you look the historical data, the tunnels are stuck up on one phase for months together, sometimes even a year. This is avoidable. This is 100% avoidable. If you are putting an engineering in action well in advance, you can avoid it. This is the first lesson which I have learned myself there. And we succeeded in doing it. 66 months, 13.5 kilometer long tunnel. We did excavation perfectly, then we lined it in the same duration. As from my experience, I can say if you divide the total cost of the tunneling project, it is almost 50-50. If you are doing a good tunneling work, the excavation consumes 50% cost, lining also consumes 50% cost. The time of lining can be speeded up, can be accelerated to overcome the loss of time which you have done in the excavation phase, and you can improvise. This is how the tunneling has to be planned. In the first session, I was listening that there were a lot of issues raised about the contracts.
I'll come to that question later in the next round.
Okay.
I'll come to the contract question. Your experience is
Sanjay, can
tremendous.
all the speakers can keep the volume a little higher? We can't hear it properly.
Sure. I'll request all the speakers while speaking to come slightly closer to your mic. I know it's not good for your back, but it's good for the audience. Kindly do that. All right. My next question is for Mr. Pushpam Kumar. So, Mr. Kumar, how do you see the advancement in tunnel construction? Sika being one of the world's oldest and largest construction chemical companies, what kind of advancement has been done for tunnel construction? Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, Dr. Rama. Sika is
Closer, please. Closer. Just
okay.
Direct the mic to you first.
That's okay.
Now I'm being more sensitive towards it. Thank you.
So, Sika is associated with the tunneling projects across the globe, and you see, is it okay? Thank you. On an average, globally, there are 5,000 kilometers of tunnels are constructed every year, and in terms of value, around 86 billion euros are spent in tinnels every year. So this is where Sika is deeply involved, and we know that cost run out and tight time schedule is some basic challenges which everyone is facing, and in previous session also we have discussed about in detail. So we understand the challenges, and during construction, the product or the technology advancement is very much needed. Sika is closely involved with all kind of tunnel construction, whether it is TBM type or NATM type of construction. For TBM, various kind of new advanced polymers and additives have been developed. Then for various admixtures are developed for picking the precast panels, then backfilling grout, then various kind of sealants are there which are for fixing those panels. In terms of NATM, right from the rock bolting, chemical anchoring rock bolting solutions, then cement grouting systems, then all kind of admixture for shotcrete, accelerator shotcrete, and there it is very important to understand that in case of any kind of wastage because of these chemicals, the cost is going to increase. And there, these chemicals has very important role to play for the contractors. So this is very important. When the construction is done, then we talk about the finishing part, like new advanced technologies have been developed for fire protection of the tunnel, light reflective coatings for the tunnel, so that while driving, you have complete safety and the complete luminosity inside the tunnel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. All right, and we are expecting Mr. Amit Saxena to join us a little later, so I'll keep his question with me. So first of all, thanks a lot to all the panelists for this wonderful first round of discussion. Now, even when I was listening to the first panel discussion, I realized that discussion on advancement in tunnel construction cannot be complete without adequate discussion on vital role of geophysics, which is placed in the investigation during construction and post-construction quality checks. You know, whenever we are talking of tunnels, we keep talking of surprises. Like even when we were discussing the tunnel of NTPC, we talked about it went very well up to a particular length. Then it met with a bad zone. You can call it water coming in. It can be a shear zone or aquifer or whatever. But very seldom I listen to the importance of doing a good investigation. Like, because whenever you're talking in these kind of forums, and if you ask a question that what kind of money are we spending on investigation, the average comes out to be 0.75% to 1% of the project cost. Global average for people who have the global work experience is something around 5 to 7%. And we are talking about a country with difficult geology like Himalayas. Ideally, we should be at least 7 or more than that. So we are saving a lot of money in investigation and paying a lot of price in the actual construction. Right? That's what exactly we are doing. So today we had one of the panelists, Mr. Andre from Emerald. He was supposed to join us, who could not join due to some unavoidable personal circumstances. So he asked me to take this responsibility to talk a little bit about what he was supposed to talk, that's on geophysics. So I'll briefly speak about the impressive advancements in the geophysical methods and their pivotal role in revolutionizing tunnel construction. Our engineering marvels are not now merely dependent on manpower and machinery, but also on the sophisticated technology that's defining the 21st century. To start with, Mr. Lowe was here. He was talking of horizontal direction coring, which is a very, very interesting thing which has come up. Almost at the same time came up the technology of Heliborne Transient Electromagnetic Method, or TEM as we call it. So this is a game changer as far as tunneling is concerned, because unlike other engineering construction, in tunneling we are actually excavating from point A to B, meter by meter, centimeter by centimeter, and millimeter by millimeter. So any changes which are happening in between are actually bad surprises for us. And any amount of drilling cannot actually map your formation meter by meter. So we are looking for technologies which can give us continuous information from point A to point B. And this Heliborne time domain electromagnetic, that's why I call it a game changer. This method allows us to capture a broad range of subsurface information, identifying and assessing geological hazards such as fault zones, groundwater conditions. The aerial perspective is invaluable in planning safe and effective tunnel routes. You know, whenever we are talking of Himalayas, we also talk of a lot of vegetation, where even a geologist going might not be practical and feasible. And that's where these kind of techniques, where you're flying over that zone, and not only one route, you're covering a particular strip and defining that complete area geologically, and then choose your tunnel route. That's the first starting point, which should be an intelligent starting point. Then there are other methods like seismic reflection, seismic diffraction, which again can tell you challenges like soft soil or rock layers that may affect tunnel stability and construction. Then there are techniques like electrical resistivity imaging or electrical resistivity tomography, which can tell you about water field fractures, voids, or low resistivity, which again are the potential problem zones. And not to talk about a very interesting technology, which is called BEAM. It is bore tunneling electrical ahead monitoring. Now, in this technology, you are making the entire TBM phase as a sensor. And as you are going stroke by stroke, you are getting an information of the zone which you are going to encounter in front of you, 3 times the diameter of tunnel. And primarily in terms of porosity and type of fluid content. Now, are we not facing that problem as the major problem in most of our tunnel projects? But that solution is there. It is only up to us to adopt these solutions. And thankfully in India also, there is awareness which has been generated. First installation of BEAM, in fact, has been done just the last week by my colleague and friend here, Commander Ashutosh Kaushik, who is sitting there. and it has been done successfully. So that is the first installation, because when we talk about new technology, there is always a talk about where it has been used in India. So thankfully now there will be a reference. So there are a lot of technologies to our rescue, which actually can change the entire scenario of doing our risk assessment properly before we get into construction. So these are few words which I wanted to talk about. And then of course you have techniques which you can use after the tunnel has been completed. For example, you want to see whether there is a gap between the grouting and the rock, or the lining is properly done. QC, quality checks, very important to be done. And there are technologies like GPR, like ultrasonic, which are very effective in giving you that information. So yeah, Mr. Andre, I have done, I think, justice to what you had to speak on this. Okay, so now let's go to our next round of question. First question is from Mr. Anil Kumar. Please tell us something about challenges faced in tunneling in Delhi area and Meerut area, and technological advancement used in planning of Anand Vihar RRTS station.
Regarding the challenges, first was that when we were having the geological data with us, that what type of soil is there in which we have to do the tunneling. And we chose that the EPV machine, TBM machine will be suitable for us. So, but you see, we did the geological investigations at about 100 meters. But when we saw that the previous data adopted in the Delhi Metro also, wherever the EPV machines were used, they found some very, surprises of the rocks inside, and there they faced a lot of problem. So that came in our mind that we had extensive trials that how to overcome that. So after that, we had the geophysical investigations also, and we did the geological investigation at every 50 meters to get the more data. So that was the one of the challenge. So luckily we could not find anything, any rock there. And now we are going to complete the tunneling also. And luckily there is no rock, no big boulders are there. So our machines are working well. But yes, there may be some surprises of this type of, so that the EPU machine cannot work there. And we may face a lot of difficulty. This was one of the challenges. It took a lot of time for us to investigate and to overcome that. Second challenge which we are facing in Delhi, Meerut, and this Delhi area and the Meerut area, we are crossing, since we are making the railway tunnel, and there the alignment we cannot choose as our own. It is decided based on the speed of the system, and our speed is about 180 km design speed. So we cannot have a lot of curves there. So or the sharp curve cannot be there. So to keep the alignment straight, we are crossing very near to the piling of the existing system where the DMRC lines are there or the flyovers are there. And many places, NS24, the flyover has been constructed in phases. So nobody has taken care that the pile should be in the same line. Wherever they found the place, they have put the pile. So we are crossing at about 1.2 meters from the pile, at about 20 meters depth. So that was a big challenge to cross the tunnel at the 120 meters from the pile. So this was one of the challenges we faced, and we overcome that by doing the soft pile, etc. at that place and retaining the soil, and a lot of big discussions were there. Another challenge which we are facing, presently also we are facing that we are going below the unengineered buildings. Unengineered building means there is no frame structure, nothing. The foundations are very shallow, and the cantilever structures have been created at the upper floors without any foundation, without any support from the ground. So that is a big challenge, and the soil below is, as I told you, is the silty type of the sand, and the fine sand is there, where the retentivity is very poor. So as Mr. Misra has said, the pre-grouting is the solution to that. We have tried that also, but yes, we could not succeed. Maybe that I will talk to him and take his advice also with his expertise. And there have now the settlement, taking the settlement below that is a very big challenge for us. Then the tunneling is going on. We are finding some cracks on the building because of the settlements. But anyhow, we are controlling that. And since our contractor is quite expert, so they are in this field of the tunneling.
operation of the machines. So they are keeping the pressure, base pressure, etc. well. So luckily nothing happened there. But yes, it's a lot of challenge which we are facing. Presently also we are facing that. So, and in the Meerut area also where we are passing, it's a quite a dense populated area. There also the buildings are very, uh, I tell you in one of the case where we were passing through a field, I think quite a big field was there. The contractor thought that now I think everything is over and nothing will happen because buildings are not there. So he started the work fast. In that case, he might not have had the phase pressure properly. So what happened when the tunneling was then going ahead after 10-15 days, there was some rain. And in that field, one buffalo was, grazing there. And suddenly the buffalo goes inside the big hole created there. So then we found there is some more, the cavity is there, big cavity is there. So it happened about 10 to 15 days after that tunneling is done. So then we took the lesson that we took every, care on that part also. So to be careful everywhere, whether it is a field or the building. So that type of challenges we have faced in this.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing this. Actually, I strongly recommend that every project which is constructed, like a tunnel, after that, there should be a documentation of experiences like this, that it can be better than any textbook ever published in this field, because every case is a case study in itself, and that documentation will really help the generations to come. And let's store good and bad memories alike. Bad memories definitely are better teachers. Good memories are good to be cherished. All right, now coming to our next speaker, Dr. Gupta. What are your views on automation and IoT for increased efficiency, and what are new and advanced materials for improving durability of tunnels? Dr. Gupta.
Look, thank you, Sanjay. And just to start with the automation and all those things associated with tunnel risk, what is way ahead and all those things, I think we have talked about this quite briefly. We are the designers for Patna Metro, so I know about BIMs and all those things. So these are very latest development. But at the same time, I have seen that there is a lot of reluctance from the clients to look at these technologies and things like that. So our focus should be when it comes to tunnel construction. If there are anything like that, this is a huge market, and people should really tell everybody that these things are available which were not available maybe 10 years ago, and this is what we are going to get out of it. And as a designer, so we always face that if you look at the boreholes, factual these things, and there is who did it, what time it did it, whether level was correct or not, what was done that 2-3 boreholes, you can very well correlate and say that out of 3 only 2 were done, things like that. So we also need to graphically through softwares and all those things monitor the entire process of drillings and all those things. And there has to be emphasis that I've seen projects where out of 4 piles, 2 got stuck in a rock and 2 got very deep into the rock. So, in 10 by 10 meter area, if you have so much differential, so making a borehole even 25 meters sometimes does not give us. So, and it's good that in this country we got something where we can really implement in a very big way, and it will sort out lot of problems, disputes, no geotag, confirmation of geotag, and all those things. So with technology only we can solve these things. And as far as advances in terms of durability of all those things, I think there are tunnel linings and all those things that we can use the steel fibers. And there is a new approach which takes the non-linear behavior, post-cracking behavior of the fibers and all those things we can design reasonably, well. Then there is also a ultra high strength concrete coming up, which can give us a concrete strength of around 150 MPa. So all these things are quite encouraging, and it is going to transform, the industry as large. At the same time, I think contract and all those, there will be a different way. So that's all, we really need to understand. If we know our devil beforehand, we can deal with it. And with this, I will stop.
Right. Knowing your site, knowing your geology is the key. I welcome Mr. Amit Saxena, and he is not late. Session got preponed, right? So he cannot be categorized as a latecomer. So welcome, and I'll come to you for your question. My next question is for Mr. A.K. Mishra. Mishra ji, how to improve the existing contracts so that TBM-based tunneling is not leading to disputes, or how we can improve upon the existing contracts to ensure that TBM-based tunneling is done by the contractor to complete the scope of his contract. Similarly, how we can improve upon in the conventional tunneling through improvising the existing contracts. This was something which was being discussed in the last session also. So your experience and views are very important here. Mishra ji.
You see, if you look at the World Bank has recently approved rated criteria backed by FIDIC. I would request to all the professionals to please look into this. It is now under circulation. Now the very pertinent question is raised that how to handle the contracts. Just for the information of the persons, I would like to tell that for the first time, when I was doing the Magdesi project in Bhutan, 720 megawatt, I introduced standard bidding document, SBD, authored by CA, not implemented in our country, but I implemented at Bhutan. SBD is a document which is well balanced. It includes risk matrix into the document. I think 12 risks which are commonly encountered in a hydro projects have been listed, and their sharing between the employer and the contractor is also given into the matrix. So whenever there's a risk appearing, to go into the matrix, look to whose account, the cost and time. Because whenever any risk is appearing, it has two impacts. First, there is a time, delay in time, and there's an additional cost. You can go into the risk bracket, look, it is to the account of employer or it is account of the contractor. So you can easily find out as per the contract that it goes to whose account. You can eliminate at least 80% or 85% of the likely disputes very easily. That is one of the good documents. I do not know what is the hesitation our country is having to implement the document. It's a friendly, readable document. It's not very technically, having commas, this and but. Once you read the contract, you would like to read it. It is that fascinating. Language is simple, written in a good, in a good language. So whenever anybody is reading it, engineer in charge is reading it, he finds comfortable with it. That is the second point. So when we implemented it, 80% disputes we avoided. Now when it comes to the TBM-based concepts, you see, if you look at the item rate contracts, you will agree that the contractor is quoting a particular rate in the BOQ. I consider it as a composite rate in the sense that there is a good rock, there's a bad rock, and there may be a normal type of a rock. So he is taking care of basically the extremes, the upper bound, lower bound, and maybe the average, and then quoting it. He can commit a mistake. So what is my suggestion is that whenever we are filling the BOQ, we must have three rates. Upper bound means when he's getting a rock which is far excellent and his progress and productivity is high, whatever rate he's quoted, he's making money out of it or having a good margin of profit. That is the one situation. Another business as usual, that whatever he thought is happening. So whatever he's getting the desired profit. Another is what he thought he's not getting. So if you create three segments, then the comfort to the contractor will come. Instead of having only one rate where he is expected to do the tunneling, as I have seen in one of the projects in NHPC when I was doing project, the contractor was having a rate, a particular rate, and when the problem received in a month about 500 meters, he made a money. He was happy. But when he started in a bad zone or a poor zone, the progress came down from 500 to 60 meters a month. His break even was not taking place. So I asked to the, a committee was formed by the government, and I presented the case. And I said in that meeting that, sir, this is not a viable contract. I was asked why. I said the break even, if he is not achieving whatever inputs he is putting on, if they are not getting compensated, he is not going to pump money month on month basis. The result will be that someday he will either walk out or he will not work. Same thing happened. This was not understood at that point of time, but subsequently it was understood. We lost, I think, 2 years into that, and then we went for another contract. My point is that for a TBM, we must have very thoughtful process of BOQ formation. BOQ should not be a single rate. Let him go with his judgment at least 3 rates. Business as usual, optimistic, pessimistic, so that his risk is getting covered. That is also an important thing to implement. Now, if you look at the basic things in our contracts, the foreseeable and unforeseeable risk, these are the two things happening in any of the contracts. Foreseeable is known to both employer as well as the contractor. Unforeseeable risk is not known to the contractor, not known to the employer also. Here the question comes, who will compensate? Most of the disputes are for those situations or unforeseeable risk which has appeared, which was not known to the employer, which was not known to the contractor, and we are disputed now. This requires addressing in a serious manner. And if we address the unforeseeable risk with a proper mechanism in the contract, I am sure the litigation will go down to the minimum. And there is a method to work out unforeseeable. Empirical relations have been developed. You can have the probabilistic analysis. There's a method. I'm not going into detail. Probabilistic methods are there. There's a Monte Carlo method by which you can forecast the probability of happening. That means that as an employer, you are not sure what is going to happen and how much it is going to impact. But you can have a range. That means while you're framing the BOQ, you have some provision of contingency. That if this happens, there is a scope available and we can pay through it. The most unfortunate part in our item with contract is that we have no contingency provisions by virtue of the nature of the contract.
So sorry to interrupt. Can I come back to you in the next round? Yeah, because I have to finish this round because I think Honorable Minister is about to come. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting. Okay, next question, and we'll like to keep it brief. Mr. Pushpam, it's for you. What are the new and advanced materials for improving durability of tunnels?
When we talk about durability, first is the construction, and especially for Indian constructors, I would like to say that in last 2 decades, we have progressed quite a lot in India. Now we are going for long tunnels. In older days, we had short tunnels. 1 kilometer, half kilometer like this. But now we are going for a long tunnels in terms of 10 kilometer, 14 kilometer, 9 kilometer. These kind of long tunnels are there, and there the durability is one aspect, and safety also, which I was talking about in my previous comment, that safety is another big aspect. So what happens when during construction itself, it has to be well thought, and all these aspects has to be taken into consideration at the design stage. So first is the durability. Durability, like how do you protect your structure from any kind of catastrophic fire hazard? And fire is something which is a big topic, which I'm sure many of you would have seen. A lot of documentaries are available, as Dr. Rana said, that bad experience is something which is very important for us for learning. So there are many case studies available of tunnel damage in case of fire accidents. So we all know that concrete does not burn. So in case of fire, when the temperature goes up, temperature reaches 1000 degree and above, the vapor pressure which is created on the concrete surface, that start breaking the concrete, and there we have cracking and delamination of the concrete surface at the tunnel phase. So what happens? We have to take these things into consideration, that in case if any fire accident happens inside tunnel, how we are going to protect the structure from a collapse situation. So there has been a clear guidelines that the tunnel fire, if you see globally, there are many fire curves which have been defined, and these fire curves have outlined the requirement. Like in case of fire, the temperature at the interface surface should not increase more than 380 degrees centigrade, and the steel which is inside the concrete should not touch more than 250 degrees centigrade. So we are talking about a tunnel fire which is 1000 degrees centigrade, and after a layer of passive fire protection mortar, the temperature should be less than 380 degrees centigrade. And there are a lot of engineering behind this. So in short, I would like to say that these things has to start from the design stage. Thankfully, in India, in one of the projects in Samriddhi Expressway, the entire tunnel is fireproof. And during the execution of the project, we realized that this concept is something which is very important in Indian context, and especially this forum. I would like to highlight that wherever the entire industry, wherever we are working, we should take these things into consideration, that how we are going to increase the durability of the structure, and especially in case of fire hazards.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for an interesting take on that. And now, last question of this round from Mr. Amit Saxena. And after that, we'll open it for audience. What are the technical advances to ensure that we are constructing the tunnel as per the design? How does the Trimble technology help in increasing the productivity, accuracy, and completing the projects in time? Mr. Saxena.
Thank you. First of all, sorry for being late here. I think it's a important aspect that we talked about how design helps in making a tunnel in the right form. The hazards that Pushpan talked about. One of the critical areas that happens because it's far off from the location wherever we are having a design is to see how the tunnel is being constructed as compared to how it was designed. The technology is available today. When we talked about that the boreholes are not known to us, very easy technology through scanners, you can monitor the way the tunnel is being constructed, and it is a real-time information that is being flowing through the survey techniques in the field to the office. So that's one of the biggest advantage, and it definitely helps. So we say ignorance is bliss, but I say that ignorance is cutting the bottom line. So if we know that there is a way we can create the project on site, and on daily basis, whenever you have intervals you can define. If you are comparing how the tunnel is getting constructed, the chances of delays and unproductive and all the litigations that we're talking about would be minimized, because there are certain areas which we'll not be able to control, but as far as design and the survey part is concerned, it can be handled very easily. The second critical part is how do we integrate different technologies, which means today there are multiple sensors available. Like drone is one area which is being booming all across the sectors. We have scanners, we have GNSS receivers, total stations. So that integrates all the data that you create from all these 4 or 5 technologies, even levels. You bring them to a single software piece at the center, and you process the data at one place. And the output of that can go to a design software for further assessment and back and forth. So that's another advantage that we provide. And obviously, when you create this thing, and the file formats that you are creating can be given to TBM machines and others, so that you have a perfect way of getting the output in the tunnel construction process. So I would say tunnels are fast, accurate, and reliable. We can get through our technology. So that's what is the main agenda.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saxena. And now, as promised, after this round, I'm going to open it for audience. And then, if the time permits, we'll go for another round of questions with the panelists. So now here, we keep the rules very simple. Please raise your hand, and I'll see whose hand is raised and ask you to ask your question. Organizers are requested to please get the mics on the front seat. So yours will be the first question. And in the beginning, briefly introduce yourself, your name and where you're working, affiliation, and then please tell which of the panelists your question is directed to. Simple things. Thank you.
My name is Mukul Goyal. I've worked in the power sector, port sector, real estate sector, and I have come to understand that EPC contracts are best utilized when the variation in the design and the concept is minimal. If you apply EPC model to highly changeable scope type projects, most likely it gets into some sort of problems. So my question is, all these surveys and all these design aspects, won't it be better that an external agency or a design company first specs out the project properly and get away from the EPC model and do your traditional design bid build model in such kind of variable projects?
Vishal, would you like to take that question?
If you look the intent, conventionally, from many years, item rate contract, if you look at intent wise, it is presumed that the owner is far more knowledgeable than the contractor. In EPC, it is reverse. The contractor is far more knowledgeable than the owner. The basic difference between the EPC and the item rate is this. So if the owner is far more knowledgeable in the work he is getting executed, he can frame things accordingly, and the contractor will execute accordingly. But if it is reverse, where the contractor is more knowledgeable and the employer is not that knowledgeable, then the EPC mode is preferable. This is the basic philosophy. Now, the advantage and disadvantage in both the contracts is this, that item rate contracts are cheapest because you're controlling item wise almost. While in EPC, the contractor takes care of the risk element as per his judgment, and they are usually costlier. So if you compare for the same work, if you go for an item rate tender or if you go for EPC mode is costlier than the item rate. So in a government setup, because most of the projects are operated by the government, the preference goes to the item.
Sorry, sir, my profound apologies to all the audience also. We will have to break this session because as informed, the minister is here. So thank you very much for your patient hearing, and it has been a wonderful session, and we'll interact more in the break. Right? Sorry for that.
Please remain seated. We will just take 2 minutes for the administrative changes. Thank you very much, Mr. Shangaria, Dr. Gupta, Mr. A.K. Mishra, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Amit Saxena, and last but not the least, the Sutradhar of the session, Dr. Rana. Thank you so much. Requesting all of you to kindly remain seated. The Honorable Minister has arrived, and we will start this in another minute or so. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Honorable Minister. So we are absolutely delighted that you've taken up time out of the busy schedule to be with us today. In interest of time, I will request my special mention to Mr. Parma Sivan, co-chair of the Transport Infrastructure Committee, and Mr. Mangu Singh, who is the President of Tunneling Association of India, to be with us today. To initiate, I would request Mr. Parma Sivan to present the green certificate to Honorable Minister. This is a tradition at FICCI in keeping up with sustainability. We do not offer flowers. We offer bouquet of trees. And with this certificate, we take a commitment to plant trees on name of Honorable Minister Sundarban National Park in West Bengal. May I request Mr. Parma Sivan to please deliver the welcome address and set the call.
Good afternoon, respected Minister, my dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the International Conference on Tunnel Construction on the Emerging Trends and Opportunities. While on many sectors, there have been several conferences and others, tunneling as a unique area, we find probably there are very limited areas of interactions or expertise happen. So FICCI at an appropriate time felt that it's necessary to have this thing, and suggested by Minister as well. We take this opportunity to welcome Honorable T. Nitin Gadkari, the Minister, Road Transport and Highways, and Dr. Mangu Singh, President, Tunneling Association of India. Sri Gadkari ji needs no introduction. In fact, he is a man of valor and wisdom. And it's a proud privilege and honor to welcome you, sir. Thank you very much for gracing the occasion, sir. The growth of tunnel construction, if you really look at it, in the last about 1 decade plus, has been very phenomenal. There have been significant efforts made by the government as well. And some of the landmark projects which have been completed or which are currently under construction, if you really look at it. And this tunnel construction is not really confined to only to roads. There's a road tunnel, railway tunnel, oil storage tanks, and hydro dam tunnels, and multiple other areas, water tunnels in some areas, all that. And it has created a unique atmosphere for tunneling in India with, I must say, limited specialized companies operating on the TBM related tunnels and more companies operating in NATM tunneling. That's a current profiling of this thing. If you take some of the prestigious projects which have been delivered in India, the top of the thing we can say is Atal Tunnel, inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister in 3rd October 2020. That was something which was very unique, which has been certified by the World Book of Records as the longest tunnel at that altitude above 10,000 feet in the world. It's not India alone, the world. Apart from that, Chanani Nashri Tunnel, with the current Pir Panjal Tunnel, which is about 12.4 kilometers. And these are some of the tunnels which have been done. Now, currently, the landmark tunnels which are happening there in the Himalayan territory are Zolzila Tunnel, which Minister has been visiting on a regular basis. And that's something which is a unique tunnel, which when completed will become the longest tunnel in Asia. Similarly, if you look at Rishikesh Karnaprayag railway line, constructed 110 kilometers of tunneling, multiple packages in the whole Himalayas. And that's again a very unique kind of tunneling. And there, one package is the TBM tunneling and all other packages are NATM tunneling. And Mumbai Coastal Road is where a small portion is undersea, the first undersea tunnel in a small scale, which is, I think, shortly expected to complete. Similarly, in metro, underwater tunnel for the first time in India, below Hooghly River in Calcutta. About both sides put together is 1.04 kilometer, done very well. And another biggest tunnel which has again gone for Guinness Books of Records for certification is Maharashtra Samruddhi Marg, where there is a 19-kilometer tunneling, 17.5 meter dia, done in a record time of 24 months. That has also gone. MSRDC has applied for certification as the fastest completion of tunnel of such a wide dia in the shortest possible time. Similarly, another landmark project which has just been awarded is undersea tunnel for bullet train for high-speed railway corporation, 21-kilometer tunnel, out of which 7-kilometer undersea tunnel. And under Honorable Minister's guidance, below Brahmaputra, there is a tunnel being planned for even not only for passenger but defense movement predominantly. That's something which will be very unique again, because Brahmaputra as a river, it changes course. Therefore, it will be a very unique tunnel if we really do it. And overall, if you look at it, there are nearly 1,641 tunneling projects going on in India currently, which we don't get to know when we see the numbers occasionally, covering nearly 3,445 kilometers. And if you look at the overall basis, it's phenomenal. Many people are talking about tunnels which are happening in Europe, Austria, more especially, all those kind of things. And here in India, we are second to none. We have moved significantly to Atmanirbhar Bharat in tunneling. Most of the tunneling crew now is not the foreigners or Europeans. Mostly all tunnel boring crews are also Indians, are very well developed. On that front, DMRC has also taken an initiative in terms of forming a tunneling academy kind of a thing, where to create further education in that plot. And L&T also has formed a tunneling academy. So towards that, so that they can move to a larger platform of tunneling in the days to come, as more and more tunneling will be required in the period to come for connectivity, as rivers and sea and many hillocks need to be really gone through. The government of India, as all of us know, have played a very pivotal role in, especially during COVID time, in many relaxations. And our Honorable Minister has played a significant role in terms of channelizing the government thought process and giving concession so that contractors do not sink. That's something which has really helped in overcoming the most difficult crisis point. While there are a lot of emerging technologies and others, still there are quite a few challenges. In terms of Himalayan territory continues to pose treacherous, I would say, geological challenge. So far, TBM tunneling in Himalayas, we are yet to see the success. In other places, it has succeeded. Himalayas, one or two places, when it was attempted, it had to be abandoned. Now, the Rishikesh Karnaprayag, one package is again attempted through tunneling. I am pretty sure we will make it a successful one, having gained experience over long periods of time now. Similarly, NATM, I think it has matured to a level where I think we are at par with global class. Some safety features is something which we can improve, I would put it. I'm being very frank. But with all these, if you really look at it, we have as a country moved consciously towards EPC contracting. And in tunneling also, we have moved significantly towards EPC contracting. But there, I have a little concern in Himalayas. Himalayas, the geological surprises are much more. When Rohtang tunnel was done, in one particular area, 700 meters, there was water ingress. 150 meters per second, 150 liters per second was the water ingress. That particular stretch, it took enormously long time to overcome. So it does, quite a few surprises do come up in Himalayan territory. My humble suggestion, which the conference needs to deliberate, is that in Himalayan territory, we should move back to item rate contracting instead of EPC, because the contractors today, contractor fraternity, if you really look at the history of last 30 years, that this decade who is present, 75% of them are not present in the next decade. If you look at the second decade, again another 75% of not present, fresh people are entering. Primarily because without understanding the risks involved, we quote. In the process, we lose money. And geological risk related compensations are restricted in terms of value. In the process, we don't know as to what happens. So it has happened, number of road contractors in the past have perished. And again, some of them would have lost some money themselves, others bankers have lost. Similarly, now tunneling, a lot of people are quoting aggressive prices on the EPC also in Himalayas as well. That should not create another history of defaults in the setup. Therefore, we need to really look at as to whether we need to move only to item rate contract in Himalayan territory alone. Other territories absolutely fine. The geological surprises are much less. So, moving forward, future of India's tunneling holds immense promise, and extensive investment in infrastructure by the current government, especially last 9 years, we have seen extensive investment, a lot of focus on Gati Shakti and related areas where logistics is given a lot of focus, connectivity is given a lot of focus, and our minister has done excellent work in terms of connectivity. Global first we have reached in all that. So the period ahead is very, very bright, and we are looking forward to an exciting period ahead. I request all the stakeholders to deliberate all the points and see that we arrive at a good solution on some of these areas where we are able to present to the minister to take it forward. Once again, I express a warm welcome to all of you. May this conference be fruitful and relevant and inspire us to achieve greater heights in the periods to come. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman. With this, I invite Mr. Mangu Singh to please deliver his address. Mr. Mangu Singh is the President of Tunneling Association of India.
Honorable Minister Sri Gadkari ji, dignitaries on dais and off the dais, let me first compliment and thank FICCI for organizing this international conference on tunnel construction. The way we are expanding our road network, our railway network, and metros, need for underground construction and tunneling is very well known. The importance of tunneling is very much there, particularly in Himalayan area and Northeast area. It's a big coincidence today that when we have gathered today here in this conference on emerging trends and opportunities in tunnel construction, there is a big Mahakumbh on tunneling is going on in Athens. That is World Tunneling Congress. And as you know, most of you are tunneling professionals. This event is an annual event organized by International Tunneling Association. And every year, we, being part a member nation of ITA, we represent strongly. And this year also, about 50 professionals from India are representing this event. As you know, International Tunneling Association was established in 1974 with the aim of providing, leading the world in sustainable use and development of tunnel and underground space. It has got 78 member nations, and I'm happy to inform you that India became member nation right in 1976, immediately after the formation of ITA. Tunneling Association of India represents the member nation, that is the country, in this event. And they conduct two annual events. One is this World Tunneling Congress, and also the award ceremony, International Tunneling Association Award Ceremony. Every year they conduct. And I'm happy to announce before you that this year's award ceremony will be in India. We have been given this opportunity to host this particular event. And this will be held in November, on 23rd November in Mumbai. And we have clubbed this with the Tunneling Asia Conference. The Tunneling Association of India also conduct international conference, that is Tunneling Asia, every alternative year. So this year we have clubbed with this award ceremony. This Tunneling Association of India is really doing commendable service to the tunneling industry in the country. And just to give a few of them, organizing seminars, conferences, organizing training programs, seminars, and also coming up with the publications like guidelines for tunnel construction, manual for underground construction, like that. So we have developed certain publications also. Now, about the tunneling, I'm not going to speak anything technical because there will be a number of presentations, deliberations during this conference. I'd like to give just two things, say a few things before you. One is that the development in tunneling has been tremendous. It is not being noticed by the society, but the way development in IT, electronics, and material science, this has been in last 30, 40 years. The same way, tunneling industry also has moved drastically as far as the development in technology is concerned. In my experience of tunneling in last 30, 35 years, I have seen the primitive type of tunnel boring machine in Calcutta Metro, where the sealed tunneling boring machine, the actual excavation was being done manually under air pressure, while the TBM was moving forward mechanically and there was a seal. So you can imagine this was a very primitive type of tunnel boring machine. And today's tunnel boring machines equipped with IT and very sophisticated modern techniques is much different what it used to be 30 years back. Second thing, all these developments are mainly to ensure the safety in tunneling. The biggest problem with any underground construction is that you are disturbing the equilibrium of the soil mass below, which can cause risk to the structures above or adjacent. So all developments are basically to ensure the safety, whether it is sealed TBM and different kind of things. I happen to come across a tender document, BOQ type of tender document, sometime being used sometime in 1910 or 20, where one of the BOQ item was, last item, the contractor will supply so many number of coffins. The engineer was supposed to estimate. I'm sorry to say, this was the situation some 100, 120 years back. I'm trying to tell you people that things have changed. The civilized society today cannot accept any such thing. Therefore, the developments has been majorly in safety area. And I'm sure these deliberations during this conference will bring out most modern techniques, the fast construction, because I always say underground construction is like open heart surgery. The earlier you close, better is this. So the fast construction, the safe construction is the key for underground. And I'm sure this conference will be very successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mangu Singh. With this, we move to inviting the Honorable Mr. Shri Gadkari ji, who does not need any introduction.
Dr. Mangu Singh ji, President, Tunneling Association of India, Mr. Param Sivan, Co-Chairman, FICCI Transport, Mr. Shailesh Pathak, Secretary General, FICCI, श्रीमती नीरजा जी, सभी उपस्थित अतिथिगण, भाई और बहन, हमारे देश में हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट में, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट में काफी बड़े प्रमाण पर टनलिंग का काम शुरू है। ये काम करने के समय सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि इसकी कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा है और इसके कारण भी काफी समस्याएं खड़ी होती है। आज हमारे यहाँ नेशनल हाईवे पे हम टोटल 144 टनल्स with the length of 357 किलोमीटर और टोटल कैपिटल कॉस्ट 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए की ये टनल का प्रोग्राम हमारा है। टनल्स अंडर ऑपरेशन जो हमने कंप्लीट किए हैं वो 30 पूरी हुई है, 45 किलोमीटर। टनल्स अंडर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ये 60 नंबर है, ये 120 किलोमीटर है, आने वाले 1.5 साल में ये पूरी होंगी। और टनल्स अंडर डीपीआर वो 54 है, वो 192 किलोमीटर है। ऐसे टोटल 144 नंबर और टोटल 357 किलोमीटर और 2 लाख करोड़ का ये प्रोग्राम है। जो नए प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने और आइडेंटिफाई किए जो इस प्रोग्राम में नहीं आए हैं, तो कम से कम और 1 लाख करोड़ के टनल इसमें आने वाले 2 साल में ऐड होंगे। एक तो शिराडी घाट का कर्नाटक की एक बड़ी टनल है, 15,000 करोड़ की है। तो ऐसे बहुत से प्रोजेक्ट है वो अभी ऐड होंगे। तो पहली बात तो ये है कि हमारी हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट्स, बाद में हमारी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स, उसमें रेलवे और रोड दोनों को देखते हुए देयर इज ए ह्यूज पोटेंशियल फॉर टनलिंग इन इंडिया। और इसलिए मैं ये मानता हूँ कि इसको प्रोफेशनली एक अप्रोप्रिएट विजन के साथ इसका अध्ययन और रिसर्च होना बहुत आवश्यक है। सबसे पहले मैं FICCI को धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उन्होंने सभी एक्सपर्ट को, इंटरनेशनल एक्सपर्ट को बुलाकर इसके डिटेल में जाकर इसके बारे में उन्होंने सोचा है। अभी विशेष रूप से हमारे अध्यक्ष जी बात कर रहे थे, तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशंस है, मंगू सिंह जी बोल रहे थे, इसमें क्या उन्होंने इसमें क्या अंदर क्या रखा था। इसके अलावा एक और बड़ा है जो सबसे प्रॉब्लमेटिक है, वो है इस प्रोजेक्ट के टेक्निकल और फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशंस फॉर प्री बिड कॉन्फ्रेंस। ये बहुत बड़ा मैनिपुलेशन है और ये मैं समझ गया, तब से मैंने इसको इतना डाइल्यूट कर दिया है कि ऐसी पद्धति है कि हिंदुस्तान की सब कंपनी डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाएगी। इस प्रकार के क्वालिफिकेशन तैयार करने में लोग बहुत माहिर हैं और इसके कारण कॉस्ट बढ़ती है। तो पहली बात तो, और वो भी ऐसा है कि अभी मैंने हमारे यहाँ टनल का काम करने वाले BRO को कहा कि हमारी पॉलिसी स्वीकार करोगे तो तुमको काम देंगे और तुम अलग क्वालिफिकेशन तैयार करोगे तो भूल जाओ, तुमको काम नहीं देंगे। अभी ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि हर टनल के लिए मेरा आग्रह है कि कम से कम 10-12 लोग अगर ये काम करेंगे तो कंपटीशन होगी, नहीं तो 2 या 3 लोग क्वालिफाई हो जाएंगे और एक काम बांट लेगा, दूसरा बांट लेगा, तीसरा बांट लेगा। 5 स्टार होटल में चाय पानी होके कार्यक्रम पक्का हो गया। तो ये होगा तो फिर टनल की कॉस्ट कम कैसे होगी? और इसलिए झोजिला टनल ये बहुत अच्छा हुआ, ये हमने इसमें साल भर वर्क किया और साल भर वर्क करने के बाद मैंने उनको कहा कि इनके टेक्निकल क्वालिफिकेशन फाइनल निकाल दो। हमारे यहाँ तो महाराष्ट्र में एक समय ऐसे क्वालिफिकेशन बनाए गए थे कि काला कोट पहनकर जो आएगा उसी को टेंडर मिलेगा, इतने केवल लिखना बाकी था। क्वालिफिकेशन तय करते समय ही करने वाले ऐसा सोचते कि किसको काम देना है, किसको क्वालिफाई करना है और किसको डिस्क्वालीफाई करना है। तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है that is not related with the contractor, but it is with the policy makers, that we should have transparent, time-bound, result-oriented and corruption-free system. And that is the reason that we need liberal technical qualifications and financial qualifications. अब मैं जब ये आया तो मैंने पेंडुलम एकदम उल्टा लेके, तो गड़बड़ ये हो गई कि NHI में 30%, 35%, 40% बिलो जाके कॉन्ट्रैक्टर आए। जो एक्स्टेब्लिश्ड है वो बड़े अस्वस्थ हो गए, मुझे बोलने लगे आपने क्या किया, बोला आप भी रेट उतारो आप। तो धीरे धीरे फिर उसकी भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आए, तो हमने अभी बराबर फिक्स किया है। तो पहली बात टेक्निकल एंड फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशन, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। सेकेंड थिंग, ऑलरेडी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में 10% मशीनरी एडवांस और 10% मोबिलाइजेशन एडवांस मिलता है। अब ये जो मशीनरी है इसके ऊपर जो कैपिटल कॉस्ट खर्चा हो रही है, उसमें मेक इन इंडिया और मेड इन इंडिया में चेन्नई में और बाकी जगह कुछ लोगों ने इंडियन मशीनरी बनाने की कोशिश की है। अब दिमाग है ऐसा मुझे लगता है, पर नहीं होगी तो इंटरनेशनल सक्सेसफुल प्रैक्टिसेस में जो टेक्नोलॉजी है वो हिंदुस्तान में मेक इन इंडिया और मेड इन इंडिया करने के लिए हम लोगों ने कुछ प्रोत्साहन करने देना चाहिए। धीरे धीरे अगर ये मशीनरी इंडिया में बन जाएगी तो हमारी कैपिटल कॉस्ट कम होगी, जिससे हम टनल की कॉस्ट हमारी कम हो सकती है। दैट इज टू बी मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग। मैं कोई एक्सपर्ट भी नहीं हूँ और इंजीनियर भी नहीं हूँ, थोड़ा सा जियोलॉजी पढ़ा। अब देश में ऐसा है कि अलग अलग टाइप की जियोलॉजी है, जियोलॉजी, मिनरलॉजी, क्रिस्टोग्राफी, जियोफॉर्मोलॉजी, बहुत प्रकार है। मेरे जानकारी से एक मोहा स्केल ऑफ हार्डनेस है, उसमें वो हार्डनेस होता है कितने प्रकार के रॉक से उसको उन्होंने डिफाइन किया। टाल्क, जिप्सम, कैल्साइट, एपेटाइट, ऑर्थोक्लेट्स, क्वार्ट्ज, कोरंडम, डायमंड, तो ये 10 है। तो 10 में से मेरा आपको पहला अनुरोध है कि 10 ऐसा 10 के बजाय 11 तो रहने वाला नहीं है। ये 10 के कैटेगरी में कहीं ना कहीं होगा स्ट्राटा जो होगा, तो आप इसके अलग अलग स्ट्राटे के ऊपर अलग अलग रिसर्च करो। हर जगह लगने के बाद फिर पूरा राम की सीता कौन, फिर पूरा रिसर्च चालू करो, ऐसा नहीं करना। ये होगा तो ये होगा तो फिर उसका सॉफ्टवेयर भी डेवलप कर सकते हैं, और इसमें कौन सी अड़चन आएगी तो क्या करना ये भी आ सकता है। तो जियोलॉजी बेस्ड ओरिएंटेड सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप करके आप इसके बारे में, हिंदुस्तान की जियोलॉजी अब पक्की हो गई कहाँ क्या है, और उसके डिटेल्स आपको जब आप टेस्टिंग करेंगे तो आपको पता चल जाएगा, और जिस प्रकार के डिटेल्स है उसके आधार पर हो जाए। सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, आई डोंट वांट टू यूज दिस वर्ड, और सबसे कल्प्रिट कोई है देश में तो वो DPR बनाने बैठे होंगे यहाँ कुछ उसमें से। ये साइट पर जाकर प्रत्यक्ष अध्ययन करते ना, हमारा भी ऐसा है। ये मंगू साहब को मैं प्रश्न नहीं पूछना चाहता हूँ, मैं हमारे अधिकारी को पूछता हूँ कि तुम्हारा हार्ट का ऑपरेशन करना है तो तुम टेंडर क्यों नहीं निकालते? निकालो ना, सस्ते में कौन कर रहा है, जाओ वहां हॉस्पिटल में, तब तुमको अच्छा हॉस्पिटल चाहिए। और जब तुम ये DPR बनाते हो तो जो हमको पहले सीवीज मिली 24,000, फिर हमने इंक्वायरी शुरू की, फिर करते करते एक्चुअल 4,000, रिकॉर्ड झूठे, और बहुत से सरकारी अधिकारी रिटायर्ड होकर DPR कंपनी खोलते हैं। अब वो मुझे उसमें आपत्ति नहीं है, पर क्वालिटी DPR की जो है, क्वालिटी टू DPR इज ए बिग प्रॉब्लम। उसका अध्ययन करके जो परफेक्ट DPR चाहिए वो होता नहीं। मैं वैसे बहुत फेवर में हूँ कि इंडिजिनस सब होना चाहिए। अब धीरे धीरे 8 साल के बाद, और मैं मेरा पुराना मुंबई पुणे और बाकी भी अनुभव के साथ मुझे ऐसे लगने लगा है कि DPR बनाते समय 51% हम इंटरनेशनल कंपनी को वेटेज दे और 49% इंडियन कंपनी को दो, क्योंकि क्वालिटी नहीं मिलती। तो ये परिस्थिति में जो DPR है, भले 2 रुपए ज्यादा, अगर 2% ज्यादा ले, पर DPR अच्छे एक्सपर्ट लोगों को, अच्छे इंजीनियर्स को लेकर साइट पर जाकर उसका अध्ययन करके बराबर DPR दे। ये तो गूगल पे देखते होंगे और घर में ही पेस्टिंग करते होंगे, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। आई एम सॉरी टू से, इतनी पुअर क्वालिटी के DPR है। और फिर 100 रुपए के काम की कीमत होती है 200 रुपए, फिर एडिशनल स्कोप ऑफ वर्क, फिर वो एडिशनल स्कोप ऑफ वर्क मंजूर नहीं होता। कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को चक्कर कटवाते हैं, हर आदमी चक्कर कटवाता है। चक्कर कटवाने के अनेक उद्देश्य होते हैं, ये चक्कर का थक जाता। अभी मैं ऑस्ट्रिया में था तो वैसे ही मिला कॉन्फ्रेंस में, तो मुझे ये जो अटल टनल वाले मिले कंसल्टेंट, एक वहाँ के जॉइंट वेंचर, मैंने पूछा कैसा है, बोले अभी तक तो हमारे कंसल्टेंसी के पैसे नहीं मिले हुए। अटका होगा किसी ने, ये नहीं किया वो नहीं किया। अब उनको मालूम नहीं हिंदुस्तान में बिल कैसे निकालना। क्यों तकलीफ देते हो लोग? We should be transparent, time bound, result oriented and corruption free and quality. That is to be most important thing before tunneling के पहले DPR qualitative कैसे बने ये आप एक बार अध्ययन करें। और if you have a software कि जिसमें कौन से रॉक फॉर्मेशन में किस प्रकार का हम लोग जाए, इसके बारे में अगर आप पहले से ही अध्ययन करके जाएंगे तो मुझे लगता है that will be more effective. तीसरी बात ऐसी है कि कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को कम करना और क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को इम्प्रूव करना, ये एजेंडा ही नहीं है। एस्टिमेट बनाने वाला तो ऐसा करता है उसका घर का कोई पैसा लगता ही नहीं, धनाधन चलाते जाता हूँ। कहीं तो भी वी नीड टू रिड्यूस द कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइज विद द क्वालिटी। हमने जोजिला टनल पर, ये बहुत अच्छी हिस्ट्री है, ये 5 बार टेंडर हुई और चौथी बार जब मेरे पास आई तब इसकी कॉस्ट 12,000 करोड़। तब मैंने कहा ये कॉस्ट क्यों बढ़ रही है, और 1 साल हमने खर्चा किया। मैं जब मुंबई पुणे एक्सप्रेस हाईवे पे मैंने टनल बनाई तो एससीसी कंपनी में एक धर्माधिकारी करके थे, तो मेरा उनका काफी संबंध था, तो वो रिटायर्ड हो गए था, उनको मैंने मेरा एडवाइजर करके लिया और 1 साल एसोसिएशन के साथ बैठकर काफी अध्ययन किया, मैंने भी किया और हमने उसके टेक्निकल फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशन बदले, काफी कुछ बातें बदली और बाद में अब हमारी टनल अभी 60% कितना 60 की 50% हुई, 40% हुई। अब इनको पीछे लगाओ, अच्छा काम कर रही है। तो मैंने इनको कहा कि 1-1.5 साल में पूरा करो, वो कर रहे, बहुत कठिनाई है, बहुत एक्सीडेंट्स हुए, हादसे हुए। सही बात है कि काम करना -8 डिग्री -6 डिग्री पर काम करना, -27, आप समझ लो कितना कठिन हो। -27 आप समझो क्या कैसे काम, और उसी में भी लोगों ने काम किया। आई एम रियली अप्रिशिएट, इस कठिनाई में काम किया और काफी काम हो गया। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये जो एडवर्स हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स है सब, इसके ऊपर अध्ययन करके रिसर्च करके हमें इसके सॉल्यूशन निकालने होंगे। अब इन्होंने वहां काम करने वाले लोगों का यूनिफॉर्म कैसा होगा, वो खाना कैसे स्टोर करेंगे, वो कहाँ कैसे रहेंगे, उनकी बाकी व्यवस्थाएं कैसी होगी, ये बहुत प्लानिंग करना पड़ा। और इसके लिए निश्चित रूप से आने वाले समय में वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड, इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड, सक्सेसफुल प्रैक्टिसेस, सक्सेसफुल टेक्नोलॉजी, सक्सेसफुल इनोवेशंस, इसके आधार पर हमको पूरी तैयारी देश में करनी होगी। और उसमें हमारा अप्रोच यही होना चाहिए कि कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को कम करना और क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को इम्प्रूव करना, 2 चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट। टनलिंग के बाद जो मटेरियल निकलता है वो मटेरियल को हम रीयूज कर सकते, इसके लिए भी हमें रोड में इधर उधर तो कॉस्ट हमारी कम होगी। कहीं ना कहीं ये संभव है, कठिन है पर असंभव नहीं है। अभी दिल्ली का रिंग रोड हमने बनाया, ये काम लगभग 2-3 महीने में पूरा होगा, यूएरी 2 का। तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है, जो रोड है कि जो हम लोग पानीपत से आते हैं पेरिफेरल रोड के बाद, वहां से द्वारका और एयरपोर्ट 25 मिनट में जाएंगे, और ऐसे जाएंगे तो हमको 2 घंटे लगते हैं। तो नेचुरली दिल्ली के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है। वहां उस रोड पर दिल्ली में 3 माउंटेन है कचरे की, तो 20 लाख टन कचरा हमने रोड में डाला है। और अब हम पॉलिसी बना रहे हैं कि हर म्यूनिसिपल कारपोरेशन में जो म्यूनिसिपल वेस्ट है उसको रोड कंस्ट्रक्शन में कैसे यूज करना। अभी डोलेरो अहमदाबाद में हमने 20 लाख टन डाला। तो मेरा आपसे अनुरोध है कि किसी भी प्रकार का मटेरियल होगा उसका किस प्रकार से हम यूटिलाइजेशन करके टू सेव मनी इज टू अर्न मनी, इसके आधार पर सेविंग कैसे हो सकता है, कॉस्ट कैसे कम हो सकती है, ये एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है। मैं तो इस मत का हूं कि अब कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट में, अभी वो तरुण कपूर साहब का रिपोर्ट आया, कल ही मेरे यहाँ प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ, तो डीजल के बारे में उन्होंने क्या कहा आपको मालूम है? आई डोंट मेक एनी कमेंट्स ऑन, पर अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि डीजल मशीनरी को डिस्करेज करना चाहिए। आप 100% इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यूज करिए, और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं होती तो मिथेनॉल करिए। मिथेनॉल 25 रुपए लीटर है,
इथेनॉल 60 रुपए लीटर है। तो मुझे आपसे एक कहना है कि हम लोग फ्यूल में भी काफी कॉस्ट बचा सकते हैं। तो इलेक्ट्रिक वहाँ एम्पल कैसे मिले बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट में करने के लिए, पहले ही टेंडर के पहले वहाँ कोई इलेक्ट्रिक का स्टेशन, पावर स्टेशन तैयार करके उतनी कंटिन्यूअस पावर इलेक्ट्रिक मशीनरी को मिलने के बारे में हमने टेंडर के पहले ही प्रोविजन करनी चाहिए। तो इलेक्ट्रिक ये चीपर है और डीजल के कारण हमारी कॉस्ट बहुत बढ़ती है। अगर 1000 करोड़ का हमारा प्रोजेक्ट है रोड का, तो 100 करोड़ फ्यूल पे जाते हैं। अगर 100 में से अगर हमने इलेक्ट्रिक की तो 100 करोड़ की कॉस्ट 15 से 20 करोड़ पे आती है। तो इलेक्ट्रिक का यूज करना, इसमें नई टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करके डीजल से पोल्यूशन भी नहीं करना और इसको कम करना, ये भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर है। अभी मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट मशीनरी के इसमें गया था, काफी लोगों ने अपने ट्रक्स से लेकर काफी बड़ा बड़ा बनाया। अभी अशोक लेलैंड और टाटा ने अपने डीजल ट्रक का जो आईसी इंजन है वो हाइड्रोजन पर वो कर रहे हैं। तो आने वाले समय में कॉस्ट बचाने में डीजल पेट्रोल से मुक्ति पाकर पोल्यूशन भी कम करना और कॉस्ट को बढ़ाना, ये भी इम्पोर्टेंट है। एक बात है कि जो रेलवे के लिए टनल बनाते हैं रोड के लिए डिस्क्वालीफाई करते, जो रोड के लिए बनाते वो रेलवे के लिए डिस्क्वालीफाई करते थे, जो दोनों बनाते हैं वो हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट के लिए करते। ये सब स्टाइल है, ये मुझे मालूम है इसके सीक्रेट्स क्या। अभी जो टनल है तो आप सब जगह एक बार जिसने टनल बनाई, पैजामा सिलाता है वो फुल पैंट सिला सकता है, फुल पैंट सिलाता है वो पैजामा सिला सकता है। तो ये इसमें ये क्यों डिफरेंशिएशन करना चाहिए? तो टोटल एक यूनिफॉर्म पॉलिसी सरकारी स्तर पर हम करें और उसमें हम लोग कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को कम करने के लिए टेक्निकल क्वालिफिकेशन में कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के बारे में सिलेक्ट करते हुए सब क्वालिफिकेशन को मान्य करें। मुझे मालूम है जोजिला के लिए ऐसे ऐसे लोगों को डिस्क्वालीफाई किया था। अब दूसरी एक समस्या नहीं ये हो गई कि आजकल कोई भी कटिंग सैलून वाला और रेस्टोरेंट वाला कहीं तो भी रशिया में जाके, अमेरिका में जाके उधर की बंद हुई कंपनी खरीदता है और उसके 49% बता के बोलता है देखो मैं क्वालिफाई हुआ। अब रोड में ऐसे भी आ रहे कि जिंदगी भर जिन्होंने रोड का 1 किलोमीटर काम नहीं किया 1000 किलोमीटर के लिए क्वालिफाई होता है, क्योंकि वो एक टेक्सटाइल वाला था, टॉवेल बनाने के काम करते थे, बाद में हाईवे मिल गया। तो मुझे प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा ये तो कंपनी कैसे है, तो टॉवेल बनाती है। मैं बोला क्वालिफाई हो गया। फिर मैंने पूछा तो बोले उन्होंने जॉइंट वेंचर किया, काम अच्छा किया उन्होंने। और अब धीरे धीरे लोगों ने आना चाहिए, पर कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक्सपीरियंस कैसा कैलकुलेट कर। तो प्रिलिमिनरी पॉलिसी मेकर्स जो है, रेलवे हो, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट हो, हाइड्रो पावर वाले हो, इसमें हमको बैठकर इसके बारे में सोचना हो। इमेंस टनल के बारे में मैं आम्स्टरडैम टू बेल्जियम तो टनल देखने के लिए गया और बहुत अच्छी टनल बनाई। तो मुझे लगता है अभी ब्रह्मपुत्रा में हम लोग एक जगह सोच रहे हैं, तो उसकी कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा आती है और कॉस्ट ज्यादा आती है तो मैं तो अभी कहता हूँ कि कॉस्ट को कम करना और स्टील और सीमेंट का कम उपयोग करना। तो ये अभी कल हमने इन्फोर्समेंट कंक्रीट टेक्नोलॉजी लाई। अब उसमें ऐसा है कि डिस्टेंस बिटवीन 2 पियर जो मेट्रो में ब्रिजेस में होता है वो हिंदुस्तान में मैक्सिमम 40 मीटर हो। अभी इस टेक्नोलॉजी से 120 मीटर हो, तो हम 40% कॉस्ट कम हो रही है। अब हम 3 लेयर के फ्लाईओवर बना रहे हैं, नीचे में रोड फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर में फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर में मेट्रो। चेन्नई और पुणे में 35,000 करोड़ के, चेन्नई में 12,000 करोड़ के फ्लाईओवर बना, तो एक ही पियर पर। तो उसमें जो ऊपर वाला पिलर कास्ट होता है वो स्टील फाइबर में होता है। मैंने एक इंजीनियर को कहा कि बाम्बू फाइबर डाल के कास्ट करके देखो। अब ये अलग अलग फाइबर यूज कर सकते हैं, तो स्टील फाइबर से कॉस्ट कम होती है। अभी जैसे ये आड़ा जो है, ये अगर 120 मीटर अगर उनने किया तो बीच में इसकी जरूरत नहीं। तो ये कोई भी नई टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट में भी एक हेजिटेशन है। तो पहली बात आप भी मांग करिए हमारी तरफ कि जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर अपने रिस्क पर, डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी की कॉस्ट पर नए एक्सपेरिमेंट करके नए इनिशिएटिव के साथ नई टेक्नोलॉजी लाता होगा तो उसको अलाउ करना चाहिए। अलाउ करते हैं, फिर हमारा एक इंडिपेंडेंट इंजीनियर होता है, उसका नाम मैंने डिपेंडेंट इंजीनियर रखा है। वो हमारे अधिकारियों की तरफ बात करके बात करता है हाँ या ना, उसको कुछ बोलता नहीं।
80 साल का टोपी पहना हुआ कोई सीनियर रहता है, रिटायर्ड इंडिपेंडेंट इंजीनियर। मैंने एक को पूछा कि तुमने जिंदगी भर इंडिपेंडेंट कोई काम किया कि नहीं किया? अभी हमने प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टेंसी करके पीएमसी लाया। मेरा बहुत अच्छा अनुभव था, मुंबई पुणे एक्सप्रेस हाईवे जब हम कर रहे थे तो हमने 9 पीएमसी लाई। रिलायंस ने 3600 करोड़ उस समय उसका कोटेशन दिया था और 9 लोगों को लाकर उनको हमने पूरा काम दिया, A to Z। एक्सप्लोजिव का लाइसेंस भी उनको लाना था, ट्री कटिंग परमिशन भी लाना था और 9 बड़ी पीएमसी आई और हमने काम जो 3600 करोड़ का था वो उस समय 1600 करोड़ में किया। आज के उस समय के 2000 करोड़, आज के 20,000 करोड़ बचे। तो निश्चित रूप से मुझे आपको ये बताना है कि सिस्टम में भी डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस 6-6 महीने डिसीजन नहीं है, मशीनरी खड़ी रहती, क्योंकि इनके घर का नहीं जाता ना जो डिसीजन है, उनको तो तनख्वाह मिलता महीने में। और इसलिए डिसीजन नहीं करना, डिसीजन टालना, इससे डिले प्रोजेक्ट डिले होकर कॉस्ट बढ़ती है, एस्केलेशन बढ़ता है। तो इसका सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप करो कि किसने कितने दिन डिले किया। और ये भी मैं अभी प्रधानमंत्री को भी मैंने कहा था कि कौन आदमी कितने दिन फाइल रखता है और डिसीजन क्या करता है, इससे हमें मतलब नहीं है, कितने दिन रखता है। मैंने एक को मजाक में पूछा था, तुमको मान लिया यार। बोले सर क्या हो गया? मैंने बोला पत्नी से भी ज्यादा आपका फाइल पर प्रेम है। जो आई वो जर रख दी तो निकालते नहीं मतलब बाहर आप। आई लाइक पीपल हु कैन गेट द थिंग्स डन, ये मैं अक्सर लोगों को कहता हूँ। तो ये पूरे टीपीआर से लेकर सिस्टम में सॉफ्टवेयर आप डेवलप करो, बीइंग ए प्राइवेट प्रोफेशनल पीपल, ये सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप करो, डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस किसने डिले किया ध्यान में आएगा, एक्सपोज होगा वो। तो नेचुरली हमारी स्पीड बढ़ेगी, स्पीड बढ़ेगी तो कॉस्ट कम होगी। मेजोरिटी कॉस्ट एस्केलेशन इज बिकॉज ऑफ डिलेज इन डिसीजंस। तो ये अगर हमने कम किया, मटेरियल अलग अलग प्रकार का यूज किया, तो हम कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन कम कर पाएंगे। कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन कम करेंगे तो हमारे रोड में इंटरनल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न अच्छा है, ठीक है। अब क्या होता है, इतना टनल की कॉस्ट इतनी बढ़ जाती है तो हमारा आईआरआर बिगड़ जाता है, फिर हमको हाइब्रिड एन्युटी में उसको पैसा देना पड़ता है। तो कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइज विद क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन हमको कम करते समय, और हम कम पैसे में अच्छा काम कैसे करें, somewhere we need to find out that exact appropriate vision for that, कि कम समय में अच्छा काम कैसे हो। और मुझे लगता है कि अब देयर इज ह्यूज पोटेंशियल। आने वाले समय में हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट की संख्या इतनी बड़ी है, इतना मेगावाट की है कि 60-70 हजार करोड़। अभी पावर हमको, अभी सोलर पावर 38% हमारी बास्केट में है, थर्मल पावर हम तैयार नहीं कर पा रहे कि पोल्यूशन का कंसर्न है। तो नेचुरली हम हाइड्रो पावर, विंड पावर, सोलर पावर के बराबर रह नहीं है, कहीं जियो थर्मल पावर की भी पोटेंशियल है। तो हाइड्रो पावर अब बनेगी तो हमारे यहाँ फॉरेस्ट के क्लियरेंसेस के कारण प्रॉब्लम है। अब फॉरेस्ट मिनिस्टर बैठे उसके ऊपर, वो भी कुछ पॉलिसी बना रहे हैं ताकि उसके क्लियरेंस मिले। और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले समय में इस सेक्टर में ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटीज है। आप अगर अच्छी मशीन खरीदते हो, आपकी कॉस्ट, एक्सपेंडिचर कॉस्ट और एक्सपेंडिचर प्रिलिमिनरी कम है, आप डीजल के बजाय इलेक्ट्रिक यूज करते हो, जियोलॉजी में आपके पास सॉफ्टवेयर और एक्सपर्टाइज अच्छा है, और टेक्नोलॉजी में अगर आपने मशीन्स भी अपनी इंडिया की अगर बन गई तो कैपिटल कॉस्ट कम होगी और जिसके कारण प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ेगी। और केवल हिंदुस्तान में ही नहीं तो वर्ल्ड में हम लोग काम करने के लिए जा सकते। अभी मैं ऑस्ट्रिया में था, हर जगह पर टनल, स्विट्जरलैंड में गया उधर टनल, धीरे धीरे हमारे देश में ऐसे ही। अब मैं केवल कश्मीर में ही हम लोग करीब 1 लाख करोड़ की टनल हमारी प्रस्तावित है। अब करीब वो जम्मू से श्रीनगर के रोड पर तो 14-15 टनल बना है। और इसलिए बहुत बड़ा पोटेंशियल ये फील्ड में है। और इसलिए आप प्रोफेशनली टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, इसमें आपके प्रोफेशनलिज्म में आप क्वालिटेटिव रिफॉर्म करके और इसके बारे में आगे आएंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से टनल कंस्ट्रक्शन को बहुत अच्छा ये है, पोटेंशियल है। हम एक के पीछे टेंडर निकाल रहे हैं, नए नए कंपनियों को इंकरेज कर रहे हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि मैक्सिमम कंपटीशन हो और निश्चित रूप से हम इसमें आपको इंकरेज करने का काम करेंगे। मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय मंत्री. To conclude and give a vote of thanks, I invite Secretary General FICCI, Mr. Shailesh Pathak, to
Speak from here. बहुत कम ऐसा होता है आज के दिन. It is very rare to have a speaker who speaks and the entire audience is listening to him spellbound. Yes or no? I did not see a single person checking their mobile phone or WhatsApp. Yes or no? And you have not had lunch so far, so even more creditable. So I will just say that Manya Mantri ji ne kaha that he likes people who get things done. We all like ministers who get things done. So a round of applause for the minister. Two or three things for the vote of thanks. I think after Honorable Minister has spoken, there's very little to add. But let me just say one thing. Everybody in this room is keenly aware of the operational issues and the scope for improvement. Jitna aap jante hain, usse zyada Mantri ji jante hain. Yes or no? So we are in safe hands. The only thing I will add is that the tunneling industry, as Mangu Singh ji said, as Param ji said, is headed for even better times, whether it is the TBM approach or the NATM approach. And just to say that those of you who have traveled to Austria and Switzerland, as Mati ji ne kaha, that you see so many tunnels in Austria and Switzerland. And I remember the first time we went to Switzerland, some 23, 25 years ago. And I said to myself, I don't know whether this will ever happen in India. Now it is happening in India. And the next 25 years of Amrit Kal, we will be even better than Austria and Switzerland. Here is my wish and confidence in Honorable Minister. I really liked the minister's question saying, would you do open heart surgery with L1 tendon? And I think if contractors have lost money and banks have lost money, they have only themselves to blame. The government is setting in place policies which are very, very practical and which are outcome oriented. We have, and Minister mentioned about the DPR, but I will only say this in the end, that I went for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra in 2005, sir. और हम लोग 7 दिन से ट्रैकिंग करके गए थे. दूसरे तरफ we got off और तिब्बत में बस में बैठ गए. Because of Honorable Minister, now that trek is not even half a day. We will be able to actually drive up to Lipu Lake Pass. And the same way, you know, all 7 Himalayan states, the pass was called La. So Sela Pass, Jozila Pass. And as FICCI, we are very proud that under Minister's leadership, all these laws and passes are getting converted into tunnels. Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, all of you.